Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Villain. My strength depends entirely on the imagination of the heroine. Chapter 61. Except for Yan Kui, who was in the extreme martial realm, no one present could see what Ling Shui was doing. Yan Kui looked confused at this moment. Ling Shui absorbed Yi Kangqing's aura into his body and then destroyed it bit by bit. Isn't this a waste of my energy? What is his purpose in doing this? What kind of calculations this young master has been planning all day, he really can't understand. That's right, those who can be seen through are not considered capable people. Only those who cannot be seen through are qualified to be a real king. At this time, the melee in the army continued. But it's almost over. The army of the Tyuan Empire is so powerful. Yi Dingtian and others are still doing their last powerless resistance. At this moment, Yi Dingtian looked at Ling Shui. Ling Shui killed his son, and now he is going to kill his father. And destroyed his empire. Such a deep hatred, it's a pity that he can't retaliate. The matter is the main thing. Because he doesn't have that ability. In front of Ling Shui, in front of the demon gate, he can't do anything. He began to regret it. Or maybe he regretted it from the very beginning. I regret that I took the initiative to unite with other forces at the beginning, and wanted to leave the people for love. At the beginning, he was the first one from the Tyuan Empire to initiate the alliance. Because the demon sect and the Tyuan Empire already have enmity. Because Yi Kangqing participated in the battle to encircle and suppress Ling Shui's father. So he didn't want to watch the magic door revive again. Unfortunately, the devil has been revived. With such a new demon lord, the demon sect is enough to dominate the world. Now, regretting is useless. All that awaits him is death. Like his empire, completely destroyed. All the people around, who were still watching the battle at this time, were also looking at Ling Er. Watching Ling Shui devouring Yi Kangqing's aura. The three of Yun Luoxi were also looking there, of course. Lu Chengshuang couldn't understand anything. Is he absorbing Yi Kangqing's aura? He's devouring Yi Kangqing's aura. Lu Wenwan nodded. I didn't expect that he still has such abilities. Then, he is at the peak of the divine origin realm. If he swallows that Yi Kangqing, wouldn't it be, he will reach the extreme martial realm. Lu Chengshuang stared at Ling Shui with wide-eyed eyes. The realm of extreme martial arts. 20-year-old extreme martial realm. Is this too perverted? Before Ling Shui, the most talented person she had ever met was Yun Luoxi. And Yun Luoxi is currently only Tianshuan mirror. However, this Ling Shui is about to reach the state of extreme martial arts. The demon master of this demon gate is truly terrifying. And, he's so good looking. But from a certain point of view, he is indeed a perfect and impeccable man. DJM#. Lu Chengshuang withdrew her gaze, and glanced quietly at Yun Luoxi who had been silent all along. It's a pity that I have nothing to do with Ling Shui. On the contrary, Yun Luoxi seems to have something to do with Ling Shui. Alas, she is always stronger than herself in every aspect, much more dazzling than herself in every aspect. Also, who else is a woman who is more dazzling than her in this world? Not a single one. At least orange cream has never been seen before. The mysterious blood-eyed woman who appeared just now was a match for her. Unfortunately, no one knows where the woman came from. At this time, Yun Luoxi looked at Ling Shui quietly. Of course she also thought that Ling Shui was devouring Yi Kangqing's aura. But now she has another problem. That is, what exactly did Ling Shui let herself do? He went to the Lingshu sect in person and told himself to be there today. Now that I'm here, but, how does it work? What is the purpose? What the hell is he thinking? Let yourself watch the battle, what is it for? Yun Luoxi really couldn't figure it out. Under everyone's gaze, under Yun Luoxi's gaze. Ling Shui on the barren ground below absorbed that Yi Kangqing soon after. At this time, Yi Kangqing finally died completely. The whole person died on the ground with his mouth dripping with blood. Like a sucked dry corpse. After Ling Shui finished all this, the corners of Ling Shui's mouth curled up slightly. He raised his hand and made a fist. Immediately afterwards, his gaze was directed towards Yun Luoxi. Now that she has witnessed everything with her own eyes, then, just one last thing to prove. She will firmly believe that she has reached the first level of extreme martial arts. will firmly believe that he has the ability to devour the opponent's aura 100%. Swish. The next moment, Ling Shui's figure was in front of Yun Luoxi. Yun Luoxi was still looking at him. Look at that strange smile on the corner of his mouth. What do you want me to do? Yun Luoxi then asked. Now I should be able to tell myself the purpose of letting myself come, right? It's nothing, just to let you understand a truth, that is, you will never catch up with me, and you will never be able to take revenge. Ling Shui smiled lightly, and continued, just now I have devoured all of Yi Kengqing's spiritual energy, and now I am at the level of extreme martial arts. As soon as this remark came out, Yun Luoxi frowned slightly. That's it, you asked me to come just for this. Just to let me watch you break through the realm of extreme martial arts. Don't you feel bored? I can absorb 100% of the opponent's aura, which you didn't seem to know before. Ling continued. Yun Luoxi didn't speak, so he made a special trip to hit his confidence. Make yourself understand that you will never be his opponent. With a 100% absorption rate, this kind of him can be like a snowball, rolling bigger and bigger. And it's fast. This is indeed an extremely perverted ability. Now, you can go. Ling Shui then smiled lightly. He waved his hand lightly while speaking. The space-tearing power that Yankui left on him before suddenly circulated. Then, beside Yun Luoxi, a space distortion opened. Seeing this scene, Yun Luoxi, Lu Wenwan and the others were all confirmed at this time. He really has reached the realm of extreme martial arts. He really has the ability to absorb the opponent's aura 100%. At this time, Yankui, who was not far away, looked at this place with a confused look on his face. Ling Shui just lied. No, what's the use of such short-lived lies? He let himself borrow his power before, just to do this kind of bluff. What the hell is he doing? Yankui couldn't think of anything for a moment. But then, his pupils shrank suddenly. Because, at that moment, he suddenly realized, Ling Shui's strength has really reached the realm of extreme martial arts. That's right, just for a moment, without warning or fluctuation. Just so inexplicably, he is already at the extreme martial arts level. Yan Kui's old face suddenly became confused. On the old head, there seemed to be countless question marks flickering past. Deaf. Just now, what happened? Is it me? Are you old and dizzy? The young master has really reached the extreme martial arts realm. What's the matter? At this time, the corners of Ling Shui's mouth curled up in satisfaction. He could feel that he had reached the first level of extreme martial arts after all, and also gained an ability. An ability that can absorb the opponent's aura 100%. Ling Shui looked at Yun Luoxi in front of him with satisfaction. This treasured woman has made herself fat again. Yun Luoxi looked at Ling Shui with beautiful eyes. Then he took a deep breath. Of course, she can only express her helplessness for Ling Shui's behavior of making her a waste of time and deliberately damaging her confidence. After glaring at Ling Shui fiercely, she withdrew her gaze. Then turned around and walked into the space distortion that Ling Shui tore apart. Lu Wenwan then glanced at Ling Shui and followed. Now that the war is basically coming to an end, there is nothing to watch. What should be seen has also been seen. This person Ling Shui is terrifying. Now, I feel more and more scary about him. In the future, no matter in any aspect, I will stick to Ling and learn a little bit. At any time, it is best not to stand on the opposite side of Ling Shui. Otherwise, no one will end well. Following Lu Wenwan, Lu Chengxuang also turned around. It's just that when she walked to the front of the space distortion, she suddenly turned her head and said to Ling Shui, "Goodbye, Lord Demon Lord, my name is Lu Chengxuang." She subconsciously mustered up the courage to speak politely to Ling Shui. Actively, want to get to know Ling Shui. Of course Ling Shui could see it. He didn't say much, just smiled at Lu Chengxuang and turned around. Of course he knew that Lu Chengxuang was Lu Wenwan's daughter. And her biological father has some background. Ling Shui's speechless smile immediately made Lu Chengxuang burst into joy. He smiled to himself. This at least proves one thing. He doesn't hate himself. Even between hating and liking, he should be more inclined to the latter. Now, I can be regarded as appearing in his heart, and I can be regarded as acquainted. Immediately, Lu Chengxuang also smiled, then turned and left happily. As the space distortion dissipated, only Ling Shui was left in midair. Ling Shui looked at the entire battle that was drawing to a close. The empire is in a state of being completely crushed, no matter in terms of the number of armies or the number of strong men. Now, there are very few left. Immediately afterwards, Ling Shui slowly raised his palm. Afterwards, the Chenkin sword art started to work again. Yi Feng died, and he successfully achieved his goal. So, it's time to clear the field. Swish swish swish. The next moment, a burst of blood-colored sword energy shot out of Ling Shui's body. Bloody sword energy filled the sky, like a rain of blood-red light, swarming towards the battlefield. Then, Yi Dingtian and others who were in the melee, and everyone in the Tyuan Empire, were pierced by Ling Shui's sword energy one by one. Now that Ling Shui has reached the state of extreme martial arts, the power of the Chenkin sword art is of course even greater. Even Yi Dingtian can't stop even a weak sword energy. The mighty sword energy roared through the melee army. Every sword chi seemed to have self-awareness, only killing people from the Tyuan Empire, but not hurting anyone from the demon sect. Yi Dingtian and others, at the last moment, all had that desperate and ferocious gaze. Then, die and disappear. The few remaining armies and strong men in the entire empire were all wiped out under Ling Shui's move. As Ling Shui said at the beginning, not one left. After a sword strike, the battle was completely over. The Tyuan Empire was gone, and the imperial capital of the Yinshuan Empire was reduced to ashes. Everyone in the Tyuan Empire was reduced to ashes. The protagonist Yi Feng and Yi Tan were reduced to ashes. All in all, this is the end. From then on, there was no Tyuan Empire in Yuanyang continent. In this world, there is no protagonist anymore. On the side of Momen, there is almost no loss. Among them, the one who was injured the most was Yang Kui, who fought against Yi Kangqing. At the end of the war, the entire imperial capital was completely silent. Only those huge demonic beasts in the air, the demon sect and the powerful army of the Qinlingu clan were left behind. There is also the boundless bloody cloud below, as well as the people who came to watch. Today, everyone has witnessed the fall of an empire. For the demon sect, it is so easy to destroy an empire. Back then, the demon sect dominated the world, and since Ling Shui's father died, everyone believed that the demon sect would never recover. And now, everyone has once again seen the edge of the demon gate. I saw the sharpness of the new demon master Ling Shui. The future magic gate will definitely be stronger than the previous ones. Even more, unstoppable. Immediately afterwards, the army of the demon sect and the army of the Qinling ancient clan all gathered together. Yan Kui came to Ling Shui's side, and then asked with a confused face, what did the young master just do? Why did the strength suddenly break through? As Yan Lao saw, I completely devoured Yi Kangqing's aura. Ling Shui smiled lightly. But just now the young master is not. Yang Kui couldn't understand. If I read correctly, Ling Shui wasn't devouring Yi Kangqing before. Instead, extract Yi Kangqing's aura and offset it. Could it be that I read it wrong? I'm afraid Mr. Yan has missed his mark. Ling Shui smiled again. Hiss. Yan Kui frowned. If there were not so many people, he might have to scratch his head. Could it be? I really misjudged myself. It's not impossible. After all, he was indeed injured in the fight with Yi Kangqing just now, and it's normal to be a little delirious. Awesome, your demon sect has won an empire. At this time, Yu Yu's figure also came to Ling Shui, and said with a smile, the empire is so big, and there are so many people, they will belong to your demon sect from now on. However, Ling Shui said with a smile, the demon sect doesn't support incompetent people. This territory of the Tyuan Empire, and the people of the empire, my demon sect can't use it. Their demon sect doesn't need much territory. The Momen is not a system like the court. Therefore, his purpose is simply to destroy the Tyuan Empire. Instead of winning the Tyuan Empire and raising the people of the empire. The useless land of the Tyuan Empire, as well as those ordinary people, are not needed by the demon sect. Never mind, if there are many people, wouldn't it be more talented? Yu didn't understand. She used to be an emperor, and she really didn't understand Momen's style. Inside the demon sect, it is better to lack than to abuse. If you are interested, you can manage the empire. Ling Shui then said to Yu, Anyway, you were an emperor before. Really? Then I will treat you as giving me this empire. Yu blinked suddenly. You'd better show your value. Ling Shui said lightly. Anyway, he has absolutely no intention of managing an empire and taking care of a group of people. Give it to Yu. If the empire can really cultivate any value in the future, and Yu belongs to the demon sect, then of course the value generated by the empire also belongs to the demon sect. That's for sure, I have experience. Yu said proudly. Then it's settled, this empire is mine. From now on, I will be the female emperor of this empire. Well, Tyuan Empire will be renamed, under the command of demon sect, Yumo Empire. How about it? She's not good at picking names. But Ling Shui doesn't care about these at all. Whatever your empire is. Anyway, under the command of the demon sect. Hey, from now on, I will be Yuwitch Emperor, ha 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 ha. Yu suddenly laughed. Although she is a female emperor with a delicate appearance and a mature body, she is always a secondary woman. At this moment, Ganchen from the Qinling ancient clan also flew over with Chen Shui and stopped in front of Ling Shui. The performance of the Qinling ancient clan this time is not bad. They are indeed working hard to kill the enemy. Go back and prepare, the next target. 36 fairy palaces. Ling Shui said lightly to Qianchen. Now the Tyuan Empire is also destroyed, and the protagonist is also killed. Then, it's time to start pushing the world. Let's start by eradicating the other 5 major forces. The next target is the former traitor of Demon Gate, 36 Immortal Palace. Now, go back and straighten out the old ones. In addition, I have now reached the level of extreme martial arts. You should also be able to enter the 3rd floor of the Shira Purgatory Tower. I don't know what kind of existence it will be locked inside. Hearing Ling Shui's words, Ganchen bowed slightly. Yes. Anyway, from now on, the Qinling ancient clan is already under the command of the demon sect. If you follow the magic door, you can easily kill wherever you go. Moreover, with the backing of the demon sect, no one will dare to provoke the Qinling ancient clan in the future. Let's go. Ling Shui then beckoned. Immediately, a huge space rift appeared in midair. Yes, Qian Chen nodded again, then turned to face everyone in the Qinling ancient clan. One command: retreat. All the people of the Qinlingu clan stood on the back of that huge flying monster. Then, except for Chen Shui, everyone else returned to the Qinlingu clan together. Ling Shui said before, let Chen Shui stay by his side. Of course Chen Shui will stay. From now on, she will be Ling Shui's personal maid. Counting this wave, the Qinlingu clan made a lot of money. Originally, they planned to exchange Chen Shui and Lingju for the peace of the Qinlingu tribe. But now, the Lingju is still there, and the Qinlingu clan has also been protected by the demon sect. As for Chen Shui, as Ling Shui's personal maid, she is still willing. There is nothing to lose. With the departure of the Qinling ancient clan, Ling Shui didn't waste any time. Then he beckoned, and led the demon army. All of them returned to Kangyan Tianshan. So far, everything is over. Only the boundless bloody cloud below and the surrounding people watching the battle were left behind. Today's battle undoubtedly opened everyone's eyes. After all, it is rare to witness a battle of this scale. This scale is still a unilateral crushing battle, so it is even more difficult to witness. Today's news that the Demon Gate crushed the entire Tyuan Empire will definitely spread throughout the Yuanyang continent and even the entire world in a short time. The prestige of the demon sect will resound through the sky again. Kangyan Tianshan, Demon Gate. After returning, Ling Shui ordered to go down and reorganize the troops casually. 3 days later, the 36 Devil Palace was directly leveled. After ordering everything, Ling Shui returned to his bedroom. With her bare feet, Gan Shui has been following Ling Shui. I was a little apprehensive. Will Ling Shui do something to herself now? Even if he wants to do something to himself, it is indeed impossible for him to resist. But, it would be difficult for her to accept it so soon. You have to develop a relationship first, right? Although, the maid may not have feelings at all. Thinking of this, Qian was inexplicably worried. Will Ling Shui treat herself as a maid forever? If she is always his maid, and it is impossible to have feelings for him forever. Ganzu still felt somewhat regretful. She doesn't hate Ling Shui, and even she hopes to have something with Ling Shui. If I could be the devil's wife or something. Forget it, it was basically a dream. After all, there are so many beautiful women around Ling Shui. Along the way, Gan Shui's thoughts were flying wildly, but she didn't know that Ling Shui in front of her had already stopped in her tracks. So in a daze like this, she bumped into Ling Shui's back. Yes, I'm sorry, Lord Demon Lord, I didn't mean it. She immediately took 2 steps back and lowered her head. She was so reckless on her first day as a maid. What was I thinking? I was distracted. Wait for me outside. Ling Shui didn't care about these details, but just said something lightly. Then he walked into his bedroom. Outside, Gan Shui suddenly looked confused. Even confused and somewhat inexplicably disappointed. Don't you want to? What? Isn't it what you think? Qinzu's heart was a little complicated for a while. If Ling Shui wanted her now, she would feel uneasy. But if Ling Shui doesn't want her, she will be a little bit disappointed. So, she was alone, and she stood quietly outside with complicated moods, standing still and waiting. In the bedroom, after Ling Shui walked in, he saw a person lying on his bed. Sleep soundly. Of course it was none other than Xiao Xiao. She just likes to quietly come to sleep on Ling Shui's bed when Ling Shui is not around. If you can't sleep with Ling Shui, then sleep with Ling Shui's bed. She always felt that she was sleeping on Ling Shui's bed, as if she was sleeping in Ling Shui's arms. It can make her extremely at ease and comfortable. In the entire demon sect, she was the only one who dared to come to sleep on Ling Shui's bed when she was idle and bored. Because she is Ling Shui's personal maid. Although she is a little girl with no cultivation at all, but in Momen, she basically can do whatever she wants. No one has ever dared to say that she is not. At this time, the little sleeping posture is not very elegant. It is not too much to say that she is showing her teeth and claws. The clothes on her body were also in a mess, and one corner of the clothes had slipped off, revealing half of her fragrant shoulders and the slightly developed half of the bulge. Looking at this cute little girl, Ling Shui didn't want to teach her anything. Just coughed lightly. Well, Xiao Xiao sensed that someone was coming, and opened her eyes in a daze. The next moment, her eyes suddenly widened. Then the whole person bounced off the bed. Young master, are you back? She got out of bed in a hurry, and tidied up her inelegant makeup. There is a touch of embarrassing ruddy on the face. Good Li Hao. What are you doing lying here? Ling Shui looked at her. I cleaned up the young master's bedroom, and then I was a little tired, so I fell asleep. Xiao Xiao blinked her eyes and lied. She actually came to Ling Shui's room to sleep on purpose. Sleeping on Ling Shui's bed, she could feel Ling Shui's breath. Of course Ling Shui knew she was lying, but she didn't say anything about her. Just beckoned. Go out, wait for me outside. Hum. With a blushing face, Xiao Xiao turned around and trotted out. In the bedroom, Linger took a deep breath. Then sit cross-legged. He closed his eyes, restrained his mind, and entered the Shira Purgatory Tower in the Sea of Qi. Now, let's take a look at what is closed on the 3rd floor. If you tame it, you will have another high-end combat power by your side. The black ancient pagoda stands quietly in Ling Shuichi Sea. Floating next to it is that ancient glazed lamp. Ling Shui directly entered the ancient pagoda. Break through the barrier and pass through the crimson empty 1st floor, and enter the golden sea of clouds and sky on the 2nd floor. Then, come to the top of the 2nd floor. There, too, is an entrance. An entrance with a powerful enchantment. This enchantment can only be opened with the strength of the extreme martial realm. Although Ling Shui is only at the 1st level of extreme martial arts now, but with the Chenkin sword art, his real combat power can of course be comparable to the 2nd level of extreme martial arts. So, of course it can be broken. Ling Shui followed up with the Chenkin sword art in his body, and then opened the barrier, entering the 3rd layer of Asura's capital refining. A new world. Inside, it was pitch black. Just like the starry sky at night, the up, down, left, and right are dark and boundless, with stars dotted around. Ling Shui stood alone in this dark and remote space. There was silence all around, and there was nothing in the field. But the next moment, something appeared. Swish. A mass of gray-black air burst out from nowhere with a sudden swish, pointing directly at Ling's blood. Within Ling Shui's body, the blood-colored aura surged wildly, and then it was blasted out with a palm. The blood-red palm print collided fiercely with the mass of black air in this endless space like the night sky. Boom! With a bang, the shock wave suddenly diffused, like blood-red fireworks blooming in the night sky. After that, Ling Shui's palm print was shattered by that cloud of black air. After the palm print was shattered, that cloud of black air continued to burst towards Ling Er. Immediately, within Ling Shui's body, the Chenkin sword art began to work. The sky filled with sword energy, bursting out crazily. After all, the opponent has the strength of the second realm of extreme martial arts. If Ling Shui doesn't use the Chenkin sword art, he is naturally not an opponent. Fishing. Boom. In the next moment, the sky-filled sword energy was fiercely bombarded with that cloud of black energy. Another bang resounded throughout the pitch-black space. Finally this time, the cloud of black air was stopped. Exit a distance towards the rear. Then, a gloomy and charming laughter ABCI slowly sounded. Hee hee, no wonder you can enter this side at the 10th realm of extreme martial arts. This voice, amidst its charm, carried a bit of ecstasy. Ling Shui's expression didn't change at all, he just looked at the cloud of black air rising in midair. Then he said slowly, you belong to a foreign demon. In this world, there are three forces: spirit power, demon power, empty calendar. What is emanating from this group of black energy is naturally demonic power. A monster is a monster. I really don't understand that you humans have to add a word of evil to us. That charming voice sounded again. Then, that cloud of black air slowly condensed in midair. The black air condensed and twisted, and slowly formed a slow figure. A woman in a long black dress wrapped her extremely plump figure. The skirt corners of the long skirt flowed with black air. It looks like a black rosé. This woman has a fox face that turns all living beings upside down. Those pink lips always carry a charming smile. Between a head of smooth long hair, there is a pair of black fox ears. She is a vixen, exotic demon clan, Black Fox Demon. After she transformed into a human form, she looked at Ling Shui with a pair of seductive eyes. Then he licked his red lips lightly with his tongue, and said with a charming smile, among the human race, there is such a handsome man, he is really beautiful. It's a pity, I can't wait to poke those eyes when I see them blind. You seem to have a problem with me. Ling Shui looked at this stunning and seductive black vixen lightly. Sorry, of course not, we met for the first time, of course I have no objection to you. The black fox smiled charmingly. I'm just saying, your eyes. Blood-red eyes. Blood-red. Ling Shui smiled faintly, and continued. Let me guess, it was probably someone who had the same blood-red eyes as me, who locked you here. As soon as these words came out, the black fox demon on the opposite side moved slightly with Lu Mei. Then, he laughed. Hee hee. You are not only good-looking, but also have such a good brain. While speaking, she floated over directly, her charming figure circled around Ling Shui, and finally stopped in front of him. Why do I like you so much? As she continued to speak, she slowly raised her hand towards Ling Shui's handsome face. But her hand was caught by Ling Shui. Since when have you been locked up here? Ling Shui grabbed her tender wrist and stared at her. Me. The black fox demon smiled charmingly. I can't remember how many thousands of years ago it was. Is it a woman who locked you here? Ling Shui continued to ask. How do you know? This guess seems to have no basis at all. The black fox demon was a little curious. Ling Shui could guess that the person with blood-red eyes locked her here, she could understand. After all, she said that she didn't like bloody eyes. But Ling Shui guessed it was a woman. Where does this conclusion come from? Hearing this, Ling Shui smiled faintly, and continued, I guess. She not only has the same pair of blood-red eyes as me, but also wears a veil on her face, and on her forehead, and a strange blood-colored rune imprint. What he guessed, of course, was the woman in the Tyuan Empire who said she wanted to stop him from killing Yi Feng. After all, that was the only person with blood-colored eyes besides himself that he had ever met in the whole world. Hearing Ling Shui's words, the black demon was surprised again. Because all hits. What Ling Shui said is all correct. It seems. You seem to know that woman. She then said coldly. Ling Shui grabbed her wrist and yanked her whole delicate body into his arms. Of course I don't know her, but you should know her. Ling Shui hugged the black vixen tightly in her arms, staring at her. Tell me, who is she? Now, Ling Shui is most interested in that mysterious woman. If the black fox demon knew, maybe he could find that woman. Hee. The black fox demon gave a charming smile, and then looked up at Ling Shui with somewhat resentful eyes. So you don't seem to be here for me. But for that woman, could it be, is she more attractive than me? While speaking, she raised her jade hand, gently placed it on Ling Shui's chest, and slowly slid it down. So you don't know her? Ling Shui frowned slightly. Since the black fox demon reacted this way, she probably didn't know anything. Of course I don't know her. The palm of the black fox demon on Ling Shui's chest stopped suddenly. She took me in the first time I met her. I don't know how many years I have passed here. So this ancient pagoda was built by her? Ling Shui continued to ask. I don't know if she built it, but at least at that time, the right to use it was in her hands. The black fox demon replied. Ling Shui frowned slightly. So, that woman has a lot of background, but this ancient black tower still has more background than that woman. That woman never existed in this world thousands of years ago. But now, her body cannot come here. Her body, where is it? Where did this ancient pagoda with more background than her come from? So, you really came here for her? The black fox demon's charming voice continued. Of course I'm here for you. Ling Shui looked down at the extremely charming vixen in her arms. While speaking, the arm around her soft waist was slightly exerted. After you are released, will you obey me? Of course, as long as you let me out, I will obey you. The black fox smiled charmingly. The barrier at the entrance, as long as outsiders have enough strength, they can freely enter and exit, but I can't get out no matter what. There is a restriction at the entrance specifically for the detainees. The detainees cannot touch it, but the rest can break it. Ling Shui said lightly. I'll let you out, just break that restriction. It seems that the previous Chu Yu is different. Yu is not being imprisoned. She just left a remnant of her soul in it in advance. If she wanted to go out, she could go out with the ability to break the barrier. If it is forbidden, it will be useless to her. But the black fox demon in front of her is different. She is being imprisoned. Opening the enchantment is not enough. You have to break the targeted ban. That's right, that's exactly it. The black fox demon nodded slightly. Really, that's all. There was a sneer on the corner of Ling Shui's mouth. While speaking, he looked at the black fox demon in his arms with scrutiny. Yu said before that if you want to control the existence imprisoned in the ancient tower, the prerequisite is to conquer the other party. So, how to conquer? Of course it can't be as simple as just fighting. If it's as simple as just fighting, then after going out, how to ensure that the other party won't run away? So, there must be something special in it. Otherwise, what else can it do? On the charming face of the black fox demon, there was a bit of innocence. I guess when you were locked up here, something special was planted on your body. Ling Shui smiled faintly. Only by getting that thing can I truly control you. Right. As soon as these words came out, the black fox demon immediately raised eyebrows. Because, it is. When she was imprisoned here, a mark was automatically formed in this layer of the ancient tower. Whoever can get that mark can control all her actions. Seeing that the black fox demon did not speak, Ling Shui knew that he guessed right again. So, he continued to laugh and said, do you have a name? You can call me Chinger, the black fox demon replied. Okay, Chinger. Ling Shui smiled lightly, and continued, now, do you want you to hand over that thing on your own initiative, or should we have a big fight and I'll get it by force? In any case, the result is the same. He will let Chinger become his right-hand man in the future. Control everything about her. Hearing Ling Shui's words, Chinger fell silent again. After a while, she smiled charmingly again. How about this, let's make a deal. Oh, Ling Shui looked at her, waiting for her to continue. You let me out, set me free, and I promise to make you happy. Young children and daughters walk. While speaking, jade hands have gently pulled away Ling Shui's breasts. In this way, you have nothing to lose anyway, and I still owe you a favor. How about I get something that can control you, can't control you to make me happy? Ling Shui smiled lightly. What do you think I should choose between one-time happiness and long-term happiness? Happy. She has no shortage of women around her. In terms of seductiveness alone, Yu Yaoyao is only worse than Qinger. Ling Shui is not the kind of idiot rich man who would impulsively spend money just for a one-night feast. What he wants is a competent subordinate. A subordinate of the second realm of extreme martial arts. Hearing Ling Shui's words, he frowned again. She found that her charm did not have much effect on Ling Shui. Or, Ling Shui's confirmation is her charm. But she will never do anything detrimental to his interests just because of her charm. Immediately afterwards, Ling Shui let go of Qinger. Then he stretched out a hand towards her and indifferently said, active or passive? The choice is yours. Qinger didn't speak, just stared at Ling Shui like this. Staring at this man who is not only handsome, but also has no flaws in his heart and mind. After a moment of silence, she had no choice but to admit defeat. Then, slowly spit out a sentence. I can give it to you, but I have one condition. If you don't agree, I will resist to the end even if I die. With my strength, I may not be able to win you if I go all out. Good luck. Hearing this, Ling Shui smiled lightly. Tell me. He wasn't afraid of fighting Yu Qinger. Since he can enter here, he has absolute certainty that he can win Qinger. It's just. You can really listen to her conditions. If you don't have any loss to yourself, then of course you can agree. Qinger pursed her red lips lightly, then looked at Ling Shui and said, from now on, I don't want to enter this ghostly place again. Not even for a moment. Her so-called condition is that after she leaves, Ling Shui will not let her enter here again. Because she was really tired of staying here. She can stay by Ling Shui's side, but it's also outside, not here. Hearing Qinger's condition, Ling Shui immediately smiled. I don't like imprisoning beauties at all. Canaries shouldn't be kept in cages. It's about letting her out and letting her follow me willingly. That's the only way to make sense. Okay, I also believe that you know how to be compassionate and cherish Jade. Qinger took a deep breath. Then close your eyes, and move your mind. The next moment, a mark in the shape of a black ancient pagoda slowly floated out from her proud chest. It is this imprint. Since entering here, she has been planted this imprint. Those who get this mark can control everything about her. Since entering here, she has been hiding this mark in her body. Because she is really afraid that one day someone will come in and control her freedom. Looking at the black ancient pagoda imprint, Ling Shui smiled faintly. Reached out and took it. Then, blend into the palm of your hand. The next moment, he could clearly feel that a connection had been established between himself and Qinger. 0.0. It's like a master-servant contract. From now on, he can do whatever he wants Qinger to do, just in one thought. Immediately, Ling Shui's heart skipped a beat. In front, Qinger knelt down directly towards Ling Shui. What are you doing? Qinger frowned suddenly. Ling Shui smiled faintly. Try. Gotta try it out to see if it's true or not. Now it's confirmed, it's true. Immediately afterwards, Ling Shui released the control. Qinger stood up, staring at him with beautiful eyes. Can you let me go out now? Of course. Ling Shui nodded lightly. Immediately afterwards, he directly took Qinger to open the restriction. Take her and leave this dark space together. In the bedroom, Ling Shui slowly opened his eyes. And at this moment, a cloud of black air floated out of his body, and then condensed into the appearance of Qinger in front of him. Call, J. As soon as she came out, Qinger took a deep breath. It has been countless tens of thousands of years without breathing fresh air. This long-lost feeling made her feel comfortable from the inside out. It's still good outside. From now on, don't go inside that dark ancient pagoda no matter what. Don't even go in. Immediately afterwards, she glanced sideways at Aishui. Then he pushed Ling Shui to the ground and rode directly on Ling Shui. You gave me freedom, now. I want to thank you very much. Just to celebrate my rebirth, can satisfy me. While speaking, she had already opened Ling Shui's skirt. But the next moment, she frowned slightly. Because immediately after, she bent down uncontrollably. Then, that delicate and charming pretty face moved towards the bottom of Ling Shui. What are you doing? She asked quickly. Of course I can satisfy you well, but first you have to satisfy me. There was a smile on the corner of Ling Shui's mouth. Then with a thought, she controlled her red lips to move slightly, and slowly opened her mouth. And just when Ling Shui and Qing'er were having fun, Xiao Xiao and Chen Shui outside are bickering. Things start a few minutes ago. As soon as Xiao Xiao came out of Ling Shui's bedroom, she saw Qian Shui standing outside quietly waiting. Immediately, she was a little curious. What are you doing here? Isn't this the dry snow of the Qinlingu tribe? Why did she come to the magic gate again? I'm waiting for Lord Demon King. Gan Shui replied lightly. What are you waiting for my young master to do? Xiao Xiao looked at her curiously. He asked me to wait for him here. Gan Shui replied. Why did she ask you to wait for him here? Xiao Xiao asked with a frown. Ganzu didn't know how to answer. Is there anything to ask? Isn't it obvious? He went in, so I waited for him outside. 420. Is there a problem? The magic gate is so big, where can't you go? Why do you have to wait here for my young master? Xiao Xiao then asked. As Lord Demon Lord's personal maid, of course I should wait for him here. Chen Shui also frowned slightly. I always feel that this girl is very strange. Hearing Qinzu's words, Xiao Xiao's face suddenly changed. Because what she wanted to ask was this matter. What is the relationship between Chen Shui and Ling Shui? In the end, Chen Shui became Ling Shui's personal maid. Sure enough, it was exactly what I thought it would be. Don't you know that my young master already has a maid? I don't need anyone else. Immediately, Xiao Xiao pouted. As Ling Shui's personal maid, she is the one who stays with Ling Shui the most on weekdays. This has been going on for many years. The unimportant bits and pieces in Ling Shui's life have always been taken care of by her. As a result, now, there is one more person to dry the snow. Of course she was instantly unhappy. This is the meaning of Lord Demon Lord. Chen Shui just replied lightly. Xiao Xiao frowned even tighter, and said very unhappy. Why should he? Could it be, he is going to change his maid? Is he already starting to hate himself? How can this be? I have been with him for so many years. Take care of him day and night, serve him tea and water, push his shoulders and beat his back. Why would he still need a maid? Is it something you didn't do well? You are obviously very hardworking, okay. Is it because this dry snow is more beautiful than yourself? Xiao Xiao stared at the dry snow in front of him, and looked it up and down. Chen Shui was indeed born exquisitely, especially the pair of straight and slender jade legs, under the snow-white dress, they were as perfect as jade. But even so, I am not bad. You are also very beautiful, okay. Why does the young master want to change? Why are there so many? Chen Shui shook her head. What is the need for a person like Ling Shui to do things? He can do whatever he wants. Obviously I already have me, why does he want to find another? Does he not like me anymore? He wants to drive me away. The small eye circles turned red all of a sudden. She has already imagined the pitiful picture of herself being rejected and kicked out of the house. Seeing Xiao Xiao's pitiful appearance about to cry, Ganzu immediately understood. So this little girl is jealous, is she worried about this? He didn't say he wanted to drive you away. He didn't dislike you either. Immediately, Chen Shui comforted her. He, maybe just needs 2 maids. 2. Xiao Xiao pouted. Well, as long as he doesn't dislike himself. Then, since the young master has said so, of course I have no objection. Xiao Xiao then pouted and said, but let me say it first, I came first, I'm the oldest, you have to listen to me from now on. As soon as these words came out, Chen Shui frowned slightly. Is there a difference in size when being a maid? Who cares? But let her listen to this little girl, she is not happy. In Momen, besides listening to Ling Shui, why should she listen to other people? How old are you? Immediately Chen Shui asked. The little eyeballs rolled around, then raised her head and said, I'm hungry. Of course she is not 20, her real age is only in her early 16th year. Not even 17 years old. But she can be sure that Chen Shui is definitely not 20 years old. She lied about her age, so she can grow up naturally. 20. Chen Shui frowned and stared at Xiao Xiao, then moved her eyes down, looking at Xiao Xiao's barely developed hillside. Can you be more reliable in lying? There's no proof, right? Obviously, you are younger than me. You are younger than me everywhere. I'm 21. Immediately, Ganzu replied 0. You liar. Xiao Xiao suddenly wrinkled her nose. How can you be 21 years old? You look, not even 18 years old. Then do you look 20 years old? Gan Shui asked back. Xiao Xiao was speechless, because she was a little girl who was underage. In terms of age, I am older than you. In terms of strength, I am stronger than you. Press. Ganzu glanced at the little Yumapingchuan while speaking, and then said. I am also older than you. So, if you want to divide the size, you should be the small one. Why compare with these? Xiao Xiao clasped her hands together, and continued, then let me ask you, do you know my young master? Do you know my young master's daily life? Do you know my young master's Zongchang? These words made Chen Shui silent. I just came here, of course I don't know. So, I'll be the big one, you listen to me. Xiao Xiao continued proudly. I won't listen to anyone except Lord Demon Lord. Chen Shui continued. If you don't listen to me, then tell my young master that you won't be his maid. Xiao Xiao hurriedly said. Why? Chen Shui frowned. If she had been asked to be Ling Shui's maid a few days ago, she felt that was sacrificing herself. But now, she's happy. Others told her to go, but she didn't go. So, two girls with a difference of less than 2 years in age stood up at the corner of the door. Two cute little girls, neither of them would give in to the other. And just as they were bickering, a woman in black with a black rapier came slowly. The one who came was none other than Lin Feng, one of the 12 demons. She came here specifically to find Ling Shui. She wanted to talk to Ling Shui about something alone. It's just that when I came here, I saw Xiao Xiao and Chen Shui arguing. Suddenly she was a little curious. This Chen Shui is the young lady of the Qinling ancient clan. Now he is here to fight with Xiao Xiao because of being a maid. These two little sisters are very interesting. Immediately, Lin Feng coughed dryly. Sensing Lin Feng's arrival, Xiao Xiao and Qian Shui stopped arguing, and then looked at her together. Where is Lord Demon Lord? After Lin Feng walked up slowly, he asked. Inside, Xiao Xiao and Chen Shui almost spoke in unison. Lin Feng nodded. Since Ling Shui was inside, of course she could only wait outside. Immediately afterwards, she glanced at Xiao Xiao and Chen Shui, and said lightly, maybe Lord Demon King doesn't want to see you like this. As soon as these words came out, Xiao Xiao and Qian Shui lowered their heads slightly. That's right, Ling Shui wanted the two of them to be her personal maids, of course she hoped that they would get along well. If he fights for this and that, Ling Shui might not want both of them. That would be worth the candle. We're just kidding around. Immediately Xiao Xiao pouted. While speaking, he and Chen Shui exchanged glances. Chen Shui also understood and nodded slightly. Yes, just treat as a joke. She wouldn't take this kind of thing too seriously. You are actually quite beautiful, and it is understandable for the young master to like you. Xiao Xiao continued. Hearing this, Gan Shui laughed. Does he like himself? To what extent do you like it? Immediately afterwards, Chen Shui also said, you are also quite cute, and it's no wonder that Lord Demon Lord has kept you by my side for so many years. Hey, of course, I grew up with the young master. Xiao Xiao quickly laughed. How old was she when she first became Ling Shui's maid? Although there is a certain age gap with Ling Shui, it is not too much to say that they are childhood sweethearts. Ganzu and Xiao Xiao looked at each other and smiled. It can also be regarded as resolving the little contradiction that was dispensable. Then, the two of them waited outside the palace with Lin Feng. In the dormitory, I don't know how long it has passed. Ling Shui lay contentedly on the bed, and Qing'er lay in his arms contentedly. A head of smooth long hair and black ears leaned gently on Ling Shui's chest. A furry fox tail swayed gently on the smooth jade legs. I found that I don't hate your eyes so much. Qing'er's satisfied soft voice sounded. I hate that woman, but I like you. Because of Ling Shui's perfection, she now has a deep understanding. To her, Ling Shui is really a delicacy in the world. She couldn't do without Ling Shui anymore. Ling Shui didn't speak, but slowly raised his palm. Then, the black ancient pagoda imprint slowly floated out. Seeing the imprint of the ancient black pagoda, Qing'er Lu frowned slightly. What else does he want to do? Ling Shui didn't do anything, just pinched with his bare hands all of a sudden. With a bang, the black ancient pagoda imprint was crushed by his bare hands. From now on, Qing'er will be truly free. You, what are you doing? Qing'er's charming face suddenly showed a touch of confusion. Isn't he going to use this thing to control himself? Now he actually destroyed it on his own initiative. I don't like my woman to be led by a rope, even by myself. Ling Shui smiled faintly. Now, you are completely free. Since Qing'er is already his, then of course there is no need to continue to restrict her. My own woman is not a dog. What he wants is to give her absolute freedom while she is willing to follow him. This way is the real conquest of the opponent. But now, Ling Shui is very sure that she is already her own. I have already controlled her before, and now she doesn't need to continue to control her. Ah, Qing'er suddenly laughed, and Yuanren didn't know what to say for a while. Because Ling Shui's act of truly giving her absolute freedom, she really never expected. If you want to go, you can go now. Ling Shui then said with a faint smile. This sentence, of course, is just a test. Hee, let's go. Qing'er chuckled, then propped herself up, and rode on Ling again. A slender jade finger lightly tapped Ling Shui's nose. I'm not leaving. Since you have said that I am your woman, then I will occupy you forever. Walk. Where to? Where can she go? The sky is big and the earth is big, she can indeed send it anywhere now. You can even go back to foreign lands. But she has no family or reason there, why go back? The monster race, like the human race, is divided into countless large and small forces fighting each other. And she doesn't belong to any force. For her, getting along with people is a good thing, and getting along with demons is also a good thing. So, why not choose one you like? Her favorite, of course, is Ling Shui. The more Ling Shui gave her freedom, the more he treated her like this, the more she couldn't do without Ling Shui. For her now, the world is the world, and the best home is Ling Shui's arms. Your ambition is not small. Ling Shui stretched out her hands to support Qing'er's slender and soft waist. Do you think I don't have any other women? A man like you, of course there will be many women. Qing'er smiled charmingly. But I can't compare to them. I want them all to call me sister. Hearing Qing'er's words, Ling Shui just smiled and didn't say much. That depends on whether you have the ability. Immediately afterwards, Qing'er took the initiative again. In the dormitory, the two started the second round of hearty battle. I don't know how long it has been. Ling Shui and Qing'er came out of the bedroom. The three of Lin Feng outside had indeed waited for a long time. And when they saw a seductive and charming black vixen following Ling Shui, the three of Lin Feng were slightly startled. Who is this again? And where did she come from? She, who is she? Immediately Xiao Xiao pointed at Qing'er and asked. How did this woman appear in Ling Shui's bedroom? Before Ling Shui, she slept in it all the time, she didn't notice anyone else. And just now Ling Shui was in there for a long time, could it be? Xiao Xiao gritted her teeth. Needless to say, something must have happened again. A little depressed. Ling Shui is fine with a woman she doesn't know. When will it be my turn? Who I am? Qing'er smiled seductively. Then he moved closer to Ling Shui, and the pair of peaks almost sandwiched Ling Shui's arm between them. Obviously, she just stuck to Ling Shui like this, but her eyes were on Xiao Xiao. Seeing this scene, Xiao suddenly frowned. What is obvious? Yu Wei. To be so close to the young master, to seduce the young master so blatantly, is too much. I have never done this myself. Although, my Pingchuan can't hold anything at all. Who is this little girl? How can you speak so aggressively? Qing'er then asked curiously. This little girl has no cultivation at all. How dare you speak so loudly? I'm afraid that the identity is a bit special. Who am I? I'm my young master's personal servant girl. HMPH. Pipe exclamation mark quote. Xiao Xiao snorted softly, with a look of pride on her face. I see. Qing'er also smiled, and continued, then, I am your young master's wife, do you understand now? As soon as these words came out, Xiao Xiao immediately widened her eyes. Young lady, no, absolutely not. How can the young master have a young master's wife now? Chen Shui didn't say anything at this time. She has nothing to do with Ling Shui's affairs. She also wouldn't be as blatantly jealous as Xiao Xiao, because of her screams. Lin Feng on the side, of course, can't control anything. Just looking at this black fox woman curiously. This vixen's cultivation is probably far above her own. And what she cultivated didn't seem to be spiritual power, but the demon power. I've never heard of such a person in Moment. Where is she from? Little Lord. At this time, Xiao Xiao spoke again. She just yelled and looked at Ling Shui with aggrieved eyes. She hoped that Ling Shui could explain a little bit. Seeing Xiao Xiao like this, Ling Shui could only stretch out her hand, rubbed her little head, and comforted her. She lied to you, so far. Not yet. For Xiao Xiao, Ling Shui is of course extremely doting. In the entire demon sect, who doesn't know that she is Ling Shui's personal maid? Who doesn't know that although Ling Shui didn't touch her, he doted on her more than anyone else? Treat her like a sister. And for Xiao Xiao, Ling Shui is her everything. Apart from Ling Shui, she really has nothing. Hearing Ling Shui's words, Xiao Xiao's originally aggrieved face suddenly burst into a smile. Ha, sure enough, you still want to lie to me. Immediately, she became proud again. Even the previous young Luoxi and Yu Yaoyao did not become her young master's wife. How could this vixen be possible? Ah, Qinger let out a half smile. She didn't expect that Ling Shui would explain this kind of thing to a maid. It seems that he likes this little maid very much. Immediately afterwards, Qinger looked at Chen Shui. From the moment she first came out, she had already noticed that it was done. This, a girl with mixed blood. Half of you belong to the demon clan. Immediately, Qinger stepped forward and looked around Chen Shui up and down. Backquote. Yaozu. Of course, Chen Shui heard of it for the first time. That's what you call a foreign demon. Qinger continued with a smile. Chen Shui lowered her head, did not answer, and acquiesced. Yes, her mother was indeed from the Yaozu. Hee, it turns out that humans and demons can have children. I didn't know that before. Qinger then smiled suddenly, and then came to Ling Shui again. How about, we also have one? Hearing this, Xiao Xiao immediately glared at Qinger quietly. Whatever you give birth to, if you want to give birth, it will be my husband. Just wait, when I grow up, I will be the first to give Xiao Yang a child. Ling Shui didn't say much. Of course you can get married and have children. It's just this kind of thing. Look at the pregnancy gas. Let's see which one of them has that kind of pregnancy. Immediately afterwards, Ling Shui looked at Lin Feng. Is there something wrong? The money is good. My subordinate does have something to ask for. Lin Feng bowed slightly and said. Ling Shui looked at her, and probably already guessed what was going on with her. Immediately afterwards, Ling Shui waved. Let's go, let's chat. This Lin Feng is one of the 12 heavenly demons. You should really have a good chat with her. Let her know how special she is. Yes, Lin Feng nodded. Then, Ling Shui walked forward. Lin Feng followed closely behind. And in the back, He Qian and Xiao Xiao also followed. She took the initiative to talk to Chen Shui and Xiao Xiao. She wants to know what is going on between the human race, the monster race and the void race. In addition, she also wants to know more about Ling Shui. Boundless mountains and rivers, the main altar of the Demon Gate, a piece of poetic and picturesque beauty. Ling Shui put his hands behind his back, and Lin Feng followed him with a thin sword in his hand. Not far behind, Qinger brought along two little beauties, Xiao Xiao and Qian Shui. Do you want the Chenkin sword art? Ling Shui directly expressed Lin Feng's heart. Tell the truth. For Ling Shui, who can see through other people's thoughts without saying anything, Lin Feng has nothing to say. She just nodded slightly. I know this request. May be a little big. It's really a big mouth. Ling Shui smiled. The Chenkin sword art is currently the most suitable fighting method for him. But Lin Feng actually wanted him to teach her the Chenkin sword art. This is indeed a bit beautiful. But not impossible. After all, she was the one who found the remnants of the Chenkin sword art. Without her, I would not have a complete Chenkin sword art. If Lord Demon King doesn't want to, the subordinates will never mention it again. Chu Feng slightly bowed his head. Ling Shui smiled and did not refuse directly. He just continued to speak slowly. the previous 12 heavenly demons, the top, all died in battle. Only Yan Lao and the other 4 survived. They're all old, and they've all reached their limits. Even if they are still alive, it will be difficult to play a big role in the future. They should also rest and enjoy the happiness. So, the future of the demon sect will ultimately rest on the shoulders of you, the 12 demons of heaven. The previous 12 demons, although Yanlao and others are still alive. But yes, all tired. And it is difficult to improve the strength. The 12 demons of this term will be the future high-end combat power of the demon sect. With Lord Demon Lord here, the future of the demon sect will definitely be the best. Lin Feng said softly. Ling Shui is just showing her talents now, but she has already shown that unparalleled aura. With his leadership, the circle will certainly be brilliant. Since the demon sect is a group, naturally it doesn't just need me alone, it also needs you. Ling Shui smiled lightly, and continued, you are not the most powerful of the 12 demons, but in fact, your potential is the highest among all of them. In the original book, Lin Feng finally became the #1 fighting force of the 12 demons. Her potential is the strongest among the 12 heavenly demons today. Back then, Ling Shui's father had taken a fancy to her potential, so he let her enter the magic gate and become the new 12 demons of the heavenly demons so that he could work for Ling Shui in the future. In your body, there is an extremely powerful sword intent. If you can arouse it, that sword intent is no less than the Chenkin sword art. Ling Shui continued. It is recorded in the original book that the sword intent in her body was passed down by her Lin family ancestors. She doesn't even know it yet. In the future, her combat power can be compared to the 10th realm of extreme martial arts. In the finale of the original book, she is Ling Shui's strongest right-hand man. Hearing Ling Shui's words, Lin Feng was puzzled. How could Lord Demon Master know this? Even she herself doesn't know these things. How did Ling Shui know? I know all the strong men in the demon sect. Ling Shui smiled lightly, and continued, out of the 12 demons of today, only 2 are in the realm of extreme martial arts. ABCJ, soon, you will be the 3rd. There are already 2 of them in the realm of extreme martial arts. Lin Feng was shocked. Of course she didn't know about it. That's right, Yan Xin, Yan Kuang. The 2 of them, siblings, are now in the realm of extreme martial arts. Ling Shui nodded lightly. Those 2 young lunatics. Lin Feng frowned slightly. Yan Xin, Yan Kuang, of course she knows about these 2 siblings. They are all the 12 evil spirits. They are 2 super fighters. The kind that just sees someone and is about to fight to the death. In Lin Feng's impression, the siblings were basically bleeding every day. The siblings are a bit special, because of some special reasons, their bodies don't grow up. They all stayed at the age of 8 or 9. Outside, those who don't know will probably think they are 2 children. But the real age of these 2 children is above Lin Feng. So, the demon sect now has 7 extreme martial arts. Lin Feng continued to murmur. 4 of the previous 12 heavenly demons are still alive. All 4 are in the realm of extreme martial arts. And this term of the 12 demons, 2 of them are already in the realm of extreme martial arts. Plus Ling Shui, that's 7. 8. Ling Shui smiled again. The Black Fox demon just now is at the 2nd level of extreme martial arts, and is currently the strongest in the demon sect. Of course, it is the strongest after removing him. Where did she come from? Lin Feng asked curiously. The one who was imprisoned in the ancient pagoda, I let her go, and she followed me. Ling Shui said lightly. Master Demon Lord, can you trust her? Lin Feng continued to ask. After all, they are exotic monsters, not the same kind. Ling Shui smiled. From the perspective of people, he still has it. Qinger is already under her control. Conquering women is like conquering the world. In this respect, Ling Shui is very good at it. The Chenkin sword art, I can teach it to you. Ling Shui then returned to the original question. As soon as these words came out, I was overjoyed. Then he quickly cupped his fists and bowed. Thank you, Lord Demon Master. Among the 12 demons of the sky, she is the only one who uses a sword. So she is obsessed with Chenkin sword art. I could only use the first form before. If I can learn the remaining 9 forms, my strength will definitely be greatly improved. But, you have to go out. Ling Shui then said slowly, I have a special task. I want to give it to you. Lord Demon Lord, please speak. Lin Feng nodded quickly. No matter what the task is, she will definitely complete it. As long as Ling Shui orders her, she will definitely complete it. You use a sword, and you have far sharper insights than ordinary people. Ling Shui then said slowly. So, you go find something. Lin Feng is indeed a very calm and insightful swordsman. When she was asked to store the remaining scrolls of the Chenkin sword technique before, she was able to find the Black Ancient Pagoda the fastest, which is the best proof. Her specialties are, firstly, the sword, and secondly, her calm and keen insight. So, she is best at tracking and exploring. Just like when she was able to accidentally obtain the fragments of the Chenkin sword technique. Unintentional, sometimes it is a manifestation of insight. If it were anyone else, what chance would there be of accidentally obtaining the fragments of the Chenkin sword technique? Looking for something. Lin Feng looked at Ling Shui curiously. What are you looking for? In the depths of the Wangji Desert, in an unknown place, there is an abyss of void. Ling Shui said slowly. It was left behind during the battle between a peak expert and an extremely powerful void creature in ancient times. There is a sword left in the void abyss. There is also a void mount. Go there, find the abyss, and get the sword and the void mount. In the original work, there is such a record. Lin Feng traveled around the world and accidentally got a sword and a super powerful void mount comparable to the 9th level of Jiwu in a void abyss deep in the Wangji Desert. It was precisely because of that place that the sword energy in Lin Feng's body was completely stimulated. Therefore, Lin Feng finally became the top fighting force around Ling Shui. Wangji Desert. Lin Feng narrowed her eyes slightly. It's a deserted place there. Full of unknowns and dangers. If Ling Shui asks her to go, of course she will go. Don't worry, Lord Demon, I will definitely find that sword and that mount. Lin Feng then said seriously. It's not about finding, it's about getting. Ling Shui corrected. After you get it, it's yours. As soon as these words came out, Feng frowned. Then he understood. What the Lord Demon Lord means is, to let me go out to practice. This clearly designated a direction for her to practice. All gains will be her own. For you now, staying in the demon sect will not have much effect. On the contrary, it will inhibit your progress. Ling Shui said slowly. It's very suitable for you there. After you go there, remember, there is no need to come back until you achieve your goal. If she was allowed to stay in the demon gate all the time, she might not be able to get those things. So, let her go. Lin Feng pondered for a moment, then nodded heavily, yes. Since it was Ling Shui's arrangement, of course she obeyed. I believe you will surprise me next time we meet. Ling Shui then smiled lightly. I will definitely live up to the Lord Demon Lord's trust. Lin Feng nodded heavily. Since Ling Shui has high hopes for her, of course she will never let Ling Shui down. She will definitely become what Ling Shui expected. Now, I will teach you the Chenkin sword technique. It will be more convenient after you get out. Ling Shui then said slowly. While speaking, he directly raised his hand. The index finger and middle finger pointed at Lin Feng's eyebrows. The next moment, all the information about the Chenkin sword art poured into Lin Feng's mind. In the past, she only knew the first move, but from now on, she can basically use the complete Chenkin sword technique. As for why it's just basic, because Ling Shui did not teach her the last move. Why, there are only 9 postures. After imprinting all the information about the Chenkin sword technique into her mind, Lin Feng asked curiously. There are 10 moves in the Chenkin sword technique, so why don't you pass on the last move to yourself? Having said that, I have never seen him use the last move. Even during the previous battle in the capital of the Tyuan Empire, he did not use it. Is there any special reason for this? The last move of the Chenkin sword technique is a self-sacrifice move. Ling Shui said slowly. Although it is extremely terrifying, the backlash is also huge. This kind of trump card is not suitable for you alone. That kind of trump card will only be powerless and weak after being used. If there are no accomplices around, it is best not to use it. 0. So he didn't want to teach Lin Feng this trick. Firstly, Lin Feng doesn't need it, and secondly, she's afraid that after Lin Feng has a strong trump card, it will become too pointless. A person who is too meaningless will never have any good results. He himself was quite sure, but Lin Feng, it was better for her to be careful. He doesn't want to lose a general. Understood. Lin Feng nodded heavily, naturally understanding Ling Shui's good intentions. Ling Shui hopes that she will live cautiously outside and become stronger carefully. Instead of relying on one's own desperate measures to think that one is right, and then one does not know when one will stumble. When you are ready, you can set off at any time. Ling Shui continued. Lin Feng hummed, and then said, "Subordinate, there is still something I don't understand. You want to ask why I only got the fragment of the scroll, but learned the complete Chenkin sword technique." Ling Shui naturally knew what she wanted to ask. Yes, Lin Feng nodded. This is something she has never been able to figure out. Why did Ling Shui ask her to put the fragments in the ancient tomb? Ling Shui understood the complete Chenkin sword art after getting the fragment, and why. She racked her brains but couldn't figure it out. Chapter 71. Many of Ling Shui's actions have no explanation afterwards. It's really unpredictable. Many of the things he did seemed to be unnecessary. But the result, it seems more like every step was planned by him. Of course, Ling Shui would not explain Lin Feng's curiosity. He won't let anyone know about this. He just said lightly, "In the future, if the time is right, I will naturally tell you." Seeing that Ling Shui didn't say anything, Lin Feng certainly didn't ask any more questions. Just nodded. "Yes, then, I will leave now," she continued. Of course she had nothing to prepare for. With the sword in hand, "Let's go. You do things more quickly than anyone else." Ling Shui smiled. 807. No procrastination, this is Lin Feng's character. "Let's go." Ling Shui then waved. "If you can get what you need as soon as possible, you can come back as soon as possible." "Well, subordinate, take leave." Lin Feng cupped her fists and bowed slightly to Ling Shui. Immediately afterwards, it flew towards the distant sky and flew away. Ling Shui stood alone, looking at Lin Feng's retreating back. There are 3 types of women in this world. Passionate as fire, cold as ice. People like Yu Yaoyao and Qing'er are passionate. Young Luoxi is as cold as ice. In addition to the 2 types of water and fire, there is also a 3rd type, sleepy buying. Frigid wood. Lin Feng undoubtedly belongs to this 3rd category. But even wood certainly has its own charm. A kind of charm that is neither too much nor too little, neither too close nor too far, just right. After a faint smile, Ling Shui turned around. At this time, Qing'er had almost finished chatting with Xiaoxiao and Ganzu. She has also understood the current situation. The human race, the demon race, the Void clan, and the 3 forces now basically occupy their respective territories. Under normal circumstances, there is no conflict between the well and the river. It can be considered much more peaceful than the era she was in. Of course, she now knows more about Ling Shui from Xiaoxiao and Chen Shui. "I know the demon sect and I know that Ling Shui is the demon lord of the demon sect. He is a man who dominates the world. Anyway, she likes Ling Shui more now." But, she suddenly realized that she really had no chance of taking Ling Shui to herself. Because there are indeed many beautiful women around Ling Shui. Why is she gone? Sensing Ling Shui's gaze, Qing'er asked curiously. "She has something to do and has to go somewhere far away." Ling Shui said calmly. "Is she your woman too?" Qing'er then asked. Ling Shui smiled and said 2 words. "Currently, subordinate." At present, Qing'er stepped forward and walked to Ling Shui. "In other words, sooner or later she will be your woman." Ling Shui smiled and did not answer. "If she's not mine, is it possible that I can still let her be someone else's woman?" "Oh, if I had known better, I wouldn't have given you everything so early." Qing'er then sighed. "In that case, I can at least whet your appetite until I pinch your heart. Do you have a choice?" There was a smile on Ling Shui's lips. Precisely because he knew she would have such thoughts, when he was in the palace, he controlled half of Qing'er's actions. "You big bad guy." Qing'er glared at him fiercely. "No wonder you are the devil." "Big devil." Ling Shui then let out a breath. Now that he has a 2nd-level Jiwu-level thug by his side, then it will be much easier to attack the 36 immortal palaces. Immediately afterwards, Ling Shui ordered to go down to prepare and discuss the next, new plan. Among those 36 immortal palaces, there is a special person, who must live. On the other side, Ling Shu sect. The day has passed. The entire Tyuan Empire is completely gone. It only took one day for Yu, who was under the command of the demon sect, to calm down the chaos and panic in the entire empire. She officially changed the name of Tyuan Empire to Yumo Empire, and promised not to harm any people. Her words did indeed calm the entire turbulent empire. Empire, change of dynasties. But many things have not changed. For example, the people of the empire, such as the large and small forces within the empire. For example, Lingshu sect. The Lingshu sect has always been the Lingshu sect. Although it is located within the empire, it is an independent force and has nothing to do with the empire. After Lu Chengshuang came back, she started chatting with a group of female disciples. They talked about how Ling Shui defeated the empire. Talking about the power of Ling Shui demon sect. Of course, what many female disciples care about most is Yifeng. It's that boy. They never expected that during the battle, the first person Ling Shui wanted to kill would be Yifeng, whom they hated so much. Why? Does Ling Shui also know how annoying Yifeng is? Could it be that Ling Shui is taking revenge for them? Then Ling Shui is a great hero. Of course, fantasies are fantasies, and they actually know it very well. How could Ling Er recognize them? How could he care about them? Ling Shui killed Yifeng first, there must be some special reason. Anyway, Ling Shui avenged them. In addition, it was told from Lu Chengshuang's mouth, so it makes Ling Shui look like a great hero. Many female disciples of the Lingshu sect became nymphomaniacs. Of course Orange Frost is among them. But now, there is one thing she still doesn't understand. That is, what is the relationship between young Luoxi and Ling Shui? So, she came to Lu Wenwan's residence alone, planning to inquire about her mother. But when she arrived at Lu Wenwan's residence, young Luoxi was also there. In the small courtyard where the breeze was blowing, Lu Wenwan sat and young Luoxi stood. The first thing Lu Chengshuang heard when she walked to the door was, "Master, I want to go out and have some experience." Outside the yard, Lu Chengshuang hid at the gate and did not go in. Just one person quietly stuck his head out and listened. Young Luoxi wants to go out and practice. She doesn't want to stay in Lingshu sect anymore. In the yard, Lu Wenwan stood up and looked at young Luoxi in front of her. Of course she could understand young Luoxi's thoughts. Nowadays, Ling Shui has reached the realm of extreme martial arts. But young Luoxi barely reached Tianshuan Mirror. If she didn't have enough practice and tempering, she might never be able to catch up with Ling Shui. But staying in Lingshu sect, young Luoxi's growth rate will undoubtedly be very slow. That way, you can never catch up with Roast. Revenge is never possible. Do you really hate him that much? Lu Wenwan then tried to ask. Actually, you can get along with him and Ping. He has this intention himself. In fact, as long as young Luoxi lowers his head a little. Don't be so tit for tat with Ling Shui. It's totally possible. It's not really necessary to take revenge. Since he is willing to take responsibility, why should you confront him like this? Lu Wenwan continued. These words made Lu Chengshuang outside the hospital suddenly widen her eyes. What is the responsibility? Ling Shui. Did he do that kind of thing? Did he do that kind of thing to young Luoxi? Oh my god. The pure saint of the Lingshu sect, young Luoxi, who has always been pure and pure, was actually done to such a thing by Ling Shui. No wonder Ling Er treats her more special than anyone else. No wonder Ling Shui sometimes takes special care of her. This is incredible. I will never forgive her in my life. In the yard, young Luoxi's pretty face had a touch of coldness. Ling Shui took advantage of the situation, disrupted her practice, and even took away her body. With her temperament, how could she really let Ling Shui go like this? How is it possible to really live in peace with Ling Shui? If that guy treats me in a different way, maybe I can really become a couple with him or something. But he chose to use that barbarian method. So, of course it cannot be opened. Lu Wenwan sighed slightly. It is expected that young Luoxi will not forgive Ling Shui. If she forgives Ling Shui easily, she is not young Luoxi. She is not a noble saint from the Lingshu sect. It's all my fault for not protecting you well at that time. Lu Wenwan continued with a hint of apology in her tone. If she had been there to protect young Luoxi when she was in seclusion, that kind of thing wouldn't have happened. At that time, Ling Shui was just a useless person with no cultivation and had no chance at all. This matter has nothing to do with Master. It's all his fault. He's just a fool. Young Luoxi said coldly. Lu Wenwan shook her head helplessly. It was indeed Ling Shui's fault, but as young Luoxi's master, of course she also had certain responsibilities. Then where do you plan to go? Lu Wenwan continued. The sky is vast and the earth is vast, travel everywhere. Young Luoxi replied. I want to collect the other sub-fires of Beiming Demon Fire. Now, her only chance to catch up with Ling Shui is by Yumehuo. As long as she can gather all the Beiming Demon Fire as soon as possible, she will have a chance to surpass Ling Shui. When the time comes, I must take revenge on that fool. But you are alone outside. Lu Wenwan had concern in her eyes. Master, don't worry, I'm sure of myself. Young Luoxi replied. I can't really stay in Lingshu sect forever. The traditional sect training of Lingshu sect can no longer satisfy her. If you want to become stronger, you need more vigorous training. Seeing that young Luoxi had made up her mind, Lu Wenwan certainly couldn't persuade her. She just sighed slightly. Well, after you go out, you must be careful. If you encounter any trouble, report the name of my Lingshu sect. Although our Lingshu sect is not a big force, what a great reputation, but it also has a certain reputation. Yeah, young Luoxi nodded lightly. If there is nothing we can do at the critical moment, the worst we can do is say that you are Ling Shui's woman and see who dares to touch you. Lu Wenwan continued with a smile. As soon as these words came out, young Luoxi frowned. She wouldn't say such a thing. Never. Then when do you plan to leave? Lu Wenwan asked next. Young Luoxi thought for a moment and said calmly, immediately. Now that the mind has been made up, there is nothing to linger about. All right, Lu Wenwan nodded. Then you must be careful outside. You are so beautiful, it is easy for others to miss you. Master, don't worry, I will handle it myself. Young Luoxi nodded slightly. Then he said, then, I will take my leave. Go, the world outside may indeed be more suitable for you. With your current strength, you can indeed have a try in the outside world. Lu Wenwan smiled softly. Nowadays, young Luoxi is already in the late stage of Tianxuanjing. It can be considered that he has certain abilities. It is indeed possible to break in outside. Anyway, if you encounter any unavoidable situation, then move the Lingshu sect out. If it doesn't work, move Ling Shui out. I believe it will be smooth sailing for her. Young Luoxi nodded lightly. Immediately afterwards, he did not linger. After saying their final goodbyes to Lu Wenwan, they soared towards the sky outside with one sword and one person. From now on, the world outside will belong to her. As for whether she can really catch up with Ling Shui, who is the best in ancient and modern times, it depends on her luck. I also believe she has that kind of luck. Some people are born with luck. After young Luoxi left, Lu Chengshuang walked in from outside the yard. Did you hear everything? Lu Wenwan glanced at her. Yeah, Lu Chengshuang nodded lightly. Don't talk nonsense outside, understand? Lu Wenwan continued. Senior Sister Yun really lived like that with Ling Shui? Lu Chengshuang asked hesitantly. Why live like that? That's Ling Shui taking advantage of the situation. Lu Wenwan sighed. For her, this matter is not a public matter. So don't say it, and don't say it to anyone. Young Luoxi is a very strong and dignified woman. Therefore, of course this matter cannot be made public. Oh, Lu Chengshuang said still a little surprised. Unexpectedly, Ling Shui actually did that kind of thing to young Luoxi. This is indeed a bit excessive. Young Luoxi is already arrogant, so of course she will not forgive Ling Shui. Alas, Ling Shui is also true. As the demon lord of the demon sect, he is so good-looking and has unparalleled abilities. Why do we have to force the overlord to bow? Another way, maybe if you pursue young Luoxi head-on, maybe they can become a match made in heaven. Then Ling Shui. Did you say that you would be responsible for Senior Sister Yun? Lu Chengshuang asked next. Of course, he also said before, if you, Senior Sister Yun, are willing to marry him legitimately, he is willing to marry you, Senior Sister Yun. Lu Wenwan shook her head and said, what a pity. With your temper, Senior Sister Yun, of course it's impossible to agree to him. I wouldn't agree if it were me. How can it be so excessive? After bullying someone, you still want someone to marry him. How can such a good thing in the world be possible? Lu Chengshuang pouted and said, no matter what he says, he has to give an explanation and pay a price, right? Well, Lu Wenwan breathed out. I just don't know if you, senior sister Yun, can make him pay the price. Of course young Luoxi wants revenge. But whether he can take revenge in this life, that is an unknown. No one will know. Hope she can really do it. I hope she can bully Ling Shui again sometime. Instead of being bullied by Ling Shui all the time. On the other side, there is the main altar of the demon sect in Kengyuntian Mountain. In the glorious hall, Ling sat at the top. Xiao Xiao beside him was rubbing his shoulders. Qian Shui also picked up the spirit fruit on the table very sensibly, peeled it off carefully, and brought it to Ling Shui's mouth. Although it was Qian Shui's first time as a maid, she got used to it very well. Of course, it's just because the other party is Ling Shui. If it were anyone else, she certainly wouldn't do such a thing. At this time, standing in the main hall were Yan Kui and other high-level officials of the demon sect. Qinger was standing next to Yu Yaoyao. Two women who also have fatal temptations for men stand together. Those two pairs of snow-white jade legs are undoubtedly the most dazzling scenery in the entire hall. Although both of them are famous for their charm, they have their differences. Yu Yaoyao is the kind that is extremely charming, which can be called coquettish, and can inspire a kind of primitive desire. And Qinger, a vixen, can bring a little more interest to people. Each has its own charm. Back then, the 36 demon palaces betrayed the demon sect, established their own sect, and changed their name to the 36 immortal palaces. Ling Shui, who was at the top of the list, spoke first. For traitors, my demon sect will never let go. But, the betrayal of the demon sect back then was not the intention of the master of the 10 great demons. The Grand Palace Master at that time was already terminally ill. The other 35 palace masters jointly usurped the throne and emptied the power of the Grand Palace Master. Then with the 36 demonic palaces, we rebelled against Ming together. And the Grand Palace Master died a few years ago. Nuos. But, the Grand Palace Master's daughter is still alive. You should all still remember that girl. That girl didn't have any thoughts of betraying the demon sect, she was just being presided over by the other 35 battalions. Because the Grand Palace Master gave her an ancient divine book called Dragon Controlling Code. Back then, the other 35 palace masters have kept her alive. The Divine Code of Controlling the Dragon is an ancient forbidden book from the Dragon Clan of the Holy Beast continent. It was obtained by my father back then and was given to the Grand Palace Master. With the Dragon Control Divine Code, you can control all life forms of the dragon bloodline. So, everyone can die in this attack on the 36 demonic palaces. That girl has to live. The overall strength of the demon sect is extremely powerful. Among them, the top combat power is indeed the 12 demons. But other senior executives are not bad either. For example, the Grand Master of the 36 demonic palaces. The Grand Palace Master has a strength that is comparable to the 12 strongest demons. In short, Anada-Er's combat power is relatively even. But the overall strength of the other branches is not necessarily weaker than the 12 demons. Back then, Ling Shui's father had a very good relationship with the Grand Master of the 36 demon palaces. So he gave the Dragon Control Divine Code snatched from the Dragon Clan to the Grand Palace Master. As a result, the eldest palace lord fell ill due to an accident, and was eventually usurped by the other 35 palace lords. At this point, 36 demons have betrayed the demon sect. In order to protect his daughter, the Grand Palace Master passed on the Dragon Control Code to her. As long as the Dragon Controlling Canon is still with her, the other 35 Palace Masters will keep her forever. Until now, they have not been able to obtain the Dragon Control Code. The Divine Code of Controlling the Dragon is still in the possession of Lan Yue, the daughter of the Grand Palace Master. I felt suspicious back then. The Grand Palace Master and your father are brothers and sisters, how could they betray the devil? Yan Kui said slowly, it is indeed the work of those rats below. I didn't expect there to be such a story. Yu Yaoyao said slowly, in that case, that little girl Yue really has to live. Dragon Taming Code, that's a good thing. At this time, he also spoke, I didn't expect that thing was not in the dragon clan before. She also knew about the dragon controlling divine code. That is the forbidden book of the dragon clan. Anyone who gets that book can control the entire dragon clan. All people with dragon blood can be controlled and made into slaves. This book is a great shame to the dragon clan. But this book cannot be destroyed. Therefore, the dragon clan has banned that book since ancient times. Unexpectedly, someone from the demon sect actually got it. This demon sect seems to have been quite powerful before. What she didn't know was that it was precisely because Ling Shui's father had robbed the dragon clan's dragon control code that she had developed a grudge against the dragon clan. Of course, the dragon clan does not know that the dragon controlling divine code is now in the 36th Immortal Palace. The dragon clan always thought that the divine dragon control code was on the demon sect's side. If the dragon clan knows about the dragon taming divine code in the 36 Immortal Palaces, the dragon clan will definitely not let them go. Xiao Shangyu spoke. Why don't you tell the dragon clan about this and let them fight with each other? However, Ling Shui sneered. The traitors of the demon sect will be executed by our demon sect personally. Why do they need to fight like snipes and clams? It's not like they are equally powerful. There is no need for them to fight each other. Regardless of whether they fight or not, even if they join forces, the demon sect will not pay attention at all. What Ling Shui wants is to personally execute those traitors. Hearing this, Xiao Shangyu nodded. Cleaning up the door should indeed be handled by the demon sect himself. Since we have given 10 days to attack Tyuan Empire this time, then 36 Immortal Palaces must have been fully prepared. Bai Tu's hoarse voice sounded next. Ling Shui smiled. How can they prepare? Besides running away, what else can they do? In 2 days, we will march to Yanyang Canyon. Ling Shui continued calmly. Yanyang Canyon, isn't the 36 Immortal Palace on Lanyan Immortal Island? Yu Yaoyao asked curiously. They are already prepared, and their preparation is to hide in Yanyang Canyon. Ling Shui said lightly. There is a natural barrier. They think they can escape there. Hearing this, Yu Yaoyao and others looked at each other. Is there such a thing? Speaking of which, how did Ling Shui know this? How come he knows everything? How capable is he? Since he said so, of course we should do as he said. Get ready and head straight into Yanyang Canyon. Yanyang Canyon was originally a deserted land. Just a few years ago, people from 36 Immortal Palaces accidentally walked here and discovered that there was a huge natural barrier here. This barrier can withstand attacks from the extreme martial realm and is extremely powerful. As a result, this place became the secret stronghold of the 36 Immortal Palaces. Now, Ling Shui has destroyed the Tyuan Empire. There are no survivors in the Tyuan Empire, not a single one is left. The people of the 36 Immortal Palaces certainly knew that if they didn't find a way, the outcome would be the same as the Tyuan Empire. But there was nothing they could do. Previously, the chief of the Qinlingu tribe gave Ling Shui a spiritual pearl and daughter as a gift in exchange for peace. But 36 Immortal Palaces are different. The 36 Immortals are traitors to the demon sect, and they know very well that no matter what kind of gift they offer, Ling Shui will not let them go. He was defeated again, and begged for mercy was useless. So, of course they only have one way. Hide. Therefore, the people of the 36 Immortal Palaces all moved to the Yanyang Canyon a few days ago. First of all, this place is hidden. Secondly, the huge barrier covers this world to ensure safety. Looking in from the outside, this is a canyon and an empty virgin forest. But in fact, this is just an illusion created by the barrier. Entering the inside of the barrier is a new world. A new land. It is broad enough and rich in resources. Enough for the people of the 36 Immortal Palaces to live forever. This is a paradise that no one knows about. Hiding forever is certainly not an option. But at present, this is the only way they can do it. If you want to survive, you can only hide in this outer world. At this time, on top of a palace in this paradise, on the edge of the pavilion, a girl stood there quietly. The girl has a beautiful and clear appearance, long dark blue hair, a blue dress, and a pair of penetrating beautiful eyes, looking at this new stronghold of the entire 36 Immortal Palaces. A thoughtful look on his face. There was an indescribable tenderness and strength in her penetrating little face. Weak because she was a girl, helpless, without relatives, and was forever under house arrest by the people of the 36 immortal palaces. Strong because she never handed over the dragon control code to anyone and always remembered her mother's instructions before she died. She is naturally the daughter of the former Grand Master of the 36 demon palaces of the demon sect, Lan Yuehe. Her mother did not betray the demon sect, and she certainly did not betray the Yuman. But they were all forced to be labeled traitors. Stay with the people of the 36 immortals forever. Her mother said before she died that no matter what means they used, they should not hand over the dragon controlling code. That was her only chance to survive. She must live to avenge her mother. Return to the demon sect alive and tell everyone that they did not betray the demon sect. Tell everyone their innocence. In the past few years, Lan Yuehe has not seen any hope in her heart. Because she didn't have any strength, she couldn't get out of the supervision of 36 immortal palaces. He will be under house arrest by them forever. She could not leave the 36th immortal palace, and she could not tell anyone about her and her mother's innocence. I can't ask anyone for help. But now, the opportunity has come. Ling Shui is the opportunity. Of course she had also heard about the fact that Ling Shui, the new demon lord, showed off his talents as soon as he took office. Therefore, when Ling Shui reaches the 36th immortal palace, it will be the time for her to prove her innocence. Lan Yuehe's beautiful eyes looked at the vast 36 immortal palaces, recalling the past Ling Shui. Her age is 1 or 2 years old. I remember the last time I met Ling Shui was many years ago. At that time, she and Ling Shui were just little kids, following their young master all day long. At that time, Ling Shui was still a young master of the demon sect without any cultivation. Whatever happened occasionally, she had to take action. At that time, she was still young and said she wanted to protect the young master for the rest of her life. But now, Ling Shui is not only not born with a useless body, but also has extremely terrifying strength. Where else do we need protection? It is she who needs protection now. You don't need to think too much. He can't find it here, and no one can save you. At this moment, a voice sounded from behind. An indistinguishable middle-aged man slowly walked up. Her skin was as pale as paper, her face was somewhere between a woman and a man, and her voice was as sharp as a eunuch's. He is the current chief palace master of the 36 immortal palaces. He was the leader who betrayed the demon sect back then. Sun Jibai. After Lan Yuehe's mother passed away, he became the leader of the 36 immortal palaces. This place, no one has ever known about it. Even the people in my 36th immortal palace, only some core high-level officials knew about it before. Sun Jabai's strange voice then sounded. No one can find this place, and he is no exception. This is their secret stronghold. Never told anyone outside. No one ever knew that a paradise existed here. It's safe to hide here. At least in their opinion, it's safe. The sky is so big and the earth is so big that when the demon sect reaches the place before 36 immortal palaces, they will only think that the people from 36 immortal palaces have escaped. I would never have imagined that they would be hiding in this Yanyang Canyon. You can hide for a while, but you can't hide for a lifetime. Lan Yuehe's cold voice sounded. Sooner or later he will find you. Sooner or later you will pay the price. Price? Ha ha. Sun Jabai sneered. You seem to have great confidence in that good-for-nothing young master. Back then, when they knew that the world's forces were going to besiege the demon sect, they betrayed the demon sect. If the strongest men in the world join forces, Ling Shui's father will undoubtedly die. And Ling Shui, who was born with a useless body, certainly cannot support the demon sect. At that time, their 36 demon palaces could no longer see the future of the demon sect. So at the critical moment, he defected. It's just that they didn't expect that the result of that battle would be to die together and both sides would suffer. They also did not expect that Ling Shui, the young master of the demon sect, was not born with a useless body but was extremely terrifying. Don't you think it's ridiculous to hide like a turtle in fear of what you call trash? Lan Yuer said coldly. He indeed exceeded everyone's expectations. Sun Jabai took a deep breath. But this won't change anything. There are many forces outside, and some people will take action against him. When the time comes, he won't have the time to look for our 36 immortal palaces. Hearing this, Lan Yuehe said nothing more. He believed that Ling Shui would conquer the whole world sooner or later. Finally, I won't let anyone go who shouldn't be let go. Ling Shui will find it here sooner or later, it's just a matter of time. You really want to leave here, right? You really want to go back to the demon sect? Sun Jiabai's voice then sounded. Lan Yue didn't answer. Of course, there is no need to answer this question. As long as you hand over the dragon-controlling divine code, I will let you go. Let you leave the immortal palace. Sun Jibai then sneered. Why are you wasting your breath? Lan Yue snorted coldly. Let her leave Asgard. As long as she really hands over the dragon control code, she will really have no value. When the time comes, will Sun Jibai let her go? Since she already knows the new location of the 36 immortal palaces, Sun Jibai will definitely kill people and silence them. She will definitely not let her reveal the location of the immortal palace. Then just wait and see who of us has more time and who has more time. Sun Jibai didn't say anything more, turned around and left directly. Lan Yue was left standing alone on this tall building and continued to be in a daze. Yanyang Grand Canyon is indeed an isolated paradise. Indeed, no one would have imagined that there is a new world inside this Yanyang Canyon. Therefore, everyone in the 36 Immortals Palace is very relieved. At least within a certain period of time, Ling Shui would never be able to find them. Once Ling Shui discovers that they are no longer where they were, he will naturally deal with other forces first, instead of trying to find someone. So, hiding here, they are safe. At least, that's what they think now. But the next day, their minds had changed. The next day, the guard guarding the barrier hurriedly came to report, Palace Master Qi, there is someone outside, there is someone coming outside. Someone is coming. Who? Sun Jubai's face suddenly changed slightly. The guard replied with a trembling voice, Demon Gate. Ling Shui. As soon as these words came out, Sun Jibai's pupils suddenly shrank. The already pale face was completely bloodless at this moment. Demon Gate. Ling, how can it be? How could he come to your door so quickly? How did Ling Shui know they were here? Of course Sun Jubai knew it very well. Indeed, as Lan Yue said, you can't hide forever. But, how could it be so fast? How could Ling Shui turn around and come directly to her door? How many days has it been? How did Ling Shui know they were here? If no one told Ling Shui that they were here, even if everyone in the demon sect was used to search for them, it would still take a lot of time. How could Ling Shui come so soon? Sun Jiabai even suspected that Ling Shui had never looked for them at all, but had already known that they were here. What is going on? Is there an undercover agent in 36 Immortals? No, no one has gone out since entering here. Even if there is an undercover agent, it is impossible to bring the news out. So, how did Ling Shui know? What is this? Sun Jiabai's mind was buzzing for a moment. What to do? What should we do now? Enchantment. The last resort he could think of was, of course, the natural barrier of Yanyang Canyon. This is their last refuge. Everyone, immediately, send out immediately, the reinforcement is over. Immediately, Sun Jiabai roared loudly. If the barrier is broken, if Ling Shui really comes in, none of them will survive. Yes, the guard nodded quickly. Then, Sun Jiabai quickly summoned everyone in the 36 immortal palaces and flew out together. Everyone, stick to the barrier. This is the only way to survive. At this time, outside, Ling Shui has arrived. Over the vast Grand Canyon, Ling Shui stands in the sky. Behind him is a huge space rift. A steady stream of demonic armies surged out like a wave. Is there a barrier here? Qing'er's figure came to Ling Shui's side, her beautiful eyes looking down at the Grand Canyon below. It looks like a primitive canyon covered with vegetation, but in fact, this is all an illusion caused by the barrier. She still has some eyesight, and she can still see these superficial things. Ling Shui nodded slightly, and the people of the 36 immortal palaces were hiding within this barrier. I really don't understand, how could the demon lord know these things? Yu Yaoyao also came to Ling Shui's side. How are you sure that the people from 36 immortals are here? Ling Shui did not go to the original location of 36 immortals. Come directly here instead. Is he so sure? And how on earth did he know that the people from 36 immortal palaces were here? Could it be that he has an undercover agent inside 36 immortal palaces? Ling Shui just smiled and didn't explain too much. Of course these are all included in the original work. Sun Jubai and others from the 36 immortal palaces are just a bunch of turtles with shrinking heads. When you encounter trouble, hide in here. And now, since he has arrived, everyone in the 36 immortals palace has no chance of living. He will open this turtle shell. This barrier doesn't seem to be weak. Even with my cultivation level, it must be impossible to break it. Yan Kui's old voice continued. He could see that this barrier was formed naturally by condensing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Extremely strong. Even if he is at the extreme martial arts level, he cannot break it. I just don't know whether Ling Shui has this ability. I'll try. Qinger was the first to stand up. Then, black demonic energy surged around him crazily. Everyone was surprised that an exotic demon appeared in the demon sect. But she seemed to be quite loyal to Ling Shui, so of course no one would care. After all, there were also some alien beings around Ling Shui's father back then. Under everyone's gaze, the vast demonic energy in Qinger's body rose up. Finally, it condensed into a huge black fox in midair. Then, the black fox exploded towards the Grand Canyon below with the black energy in the sky. However, just when the black fox was about to rush into the Grand Canyon, it was stopped by an invisible barrier. At this moment, everyone could clearly see what the barrier looked like. The entire barrier enveloped the entire huge canyon. Then, under everyone's gaze, the black fox hit the barrier, causing the barrier to tremble for a while, and then slowly dissipated. Ha! It's really strong. Qinger frowned slightly, as if she was not satisfied with her performance. The existence of the second realm of extreme martial arts can't shake a barrier. This barrier connects heaven and earth. It is indeed difficult for ordinary people to break it. Ling Shui's voice slowly sounded. And if the connection between the spiritual energy of heaven and earth is cut off, the barrier will lose its supply, and it will naturally gradually weaken until it dissipates. As he spoke, the blood-red sword energy around him began to flow slowly. Then, 4 sword energy burst out. The 9th form of Chenkin sword technique, sword burial. However, after Ling Shui's 4 sword chi burst out, they were not directed at the barrier. Instead, it flew in 4 directions: southeast, northwest, and northwest. Finally, fall to the earth. Boom! The next moment, the 4 sword energies suddenly exploded from 4 directions. A series of explosions directly flooded the horizon where everyone could see it. Ling Shui's 4 sword energies directly smashed the surrounding earth into pieces. In the blink of an eye, there was only a blood mist left on the surrounding land. And the Yanyang Grand Canyon, in the middle of this blood mist, is like a huge isolated island. Qinger looked at Ling Shui's profile from the side. Look at his extremely handsome side face under his slightly fluttering white hair. Is it so powerful to wave your hand casually? What kind of extreme martial realm is this? Even if he is at the second level of Jiwu, there is no way he can be his opponent. This guy, fortunately, I thought he was good looking so I didn't fight him. Otherwise, I will definitely not be able to get a good deal. If she takes action, she might not be Ling Shui's woman. Instead, he will become Ling Shui's slave. The kind of slave specially used for Ling Shui to vent. At this time, inside the barrier, the people in the 36 immortal palaces were already in a state of excitement. Everyone, all the strong ones, all came out. Everyone is looking at the sky. The sky is the boundary of their place. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Outside, there was a roar, which was caused by Qinger's attack landing on the barrier. But there wasn't much movement in the barrier. It can't be opened, they can't open the barrier. Sun Jiabai burst out laughing. Even the demon gate can't open this barrier at all. He is comforting himself. He himself knew that he was comforting himself. Because even if the magic gate really can't open the barrier, they are already the turtles in the jar now. Sooner or later, when the people from the demon sect have enough strength, they will open the barrier and rush in. Everyone in the 36 Immortals Palace also breathed a sigh of relief at this time. Although it is self-comfort. But at the very least, I can live a little longer now. But at this moment, something unexpected happened. The barrier that was originally connected to heaven and earth suddenly lost its powerful spiritual energy supply. What happened? Why was the barrier broken? Everyone's expressions suddenly changed. Someone disconnected the barrier from the outside. It's over, the people from the demon sect are coming. How to do? Everyone's faces were filled with fear. They were once members of the demon sect, and they knew the style of the sect very well. If the demon sect comes in, they will definitely not let anyone go. Why are you panicking? Strengthen the barrier, everyone, strengthen the barrier. Sun Jiabai yelled quickly. He knew that the barrier had this weakness. But he didn't expect that Ling Shui would attack the weak spot as soon as he came. Why on earth does this Ling Shui know all this so well? The next moment, the spiritual energy at the peak of the divine Yuan realm in Sun Jubai's body rolled away, heading towards the strengthening of the sky's barrier. When the others saw this, they also took action quickly. The entire 36 immortal palaces, a dozen Shen Yuan realms, and many remaining armies all took action at the same time. Use their last spiritual energy to end due to reinforcement. It's a pity that the barrier that has lost the supply of spiritual energy from heaven and earth is like a cut-off river. It will only become more depleted. Of course, their little spiritual energy supplement will have no effect. At this time, inside the immortal palace, Lan Yue had also walked out. Little Lord, she looked up at the sky with her beautiful eyes, feeling very excited in her heart. Is Ling Shui coming so soon? How could he find this place so quickly? Great, I can finally meet him. I can finally explain everything to him. Outside, after Ling Shui cut off the spiritual connection between the Grand Canyon and the heaven and earth with a sword, he stood there and waited quietly. Without the supply of spiritual energy, this barrier will gradually weaken. As everyone waited, indeed very quickly, the barrier revealed its round shape, and then became thinner little by little. Of course, the barrier at this time can be opened easily. Ling Shui immediately waved his hand. Whoosh! A burst of sword energy shot away. With a bang, the originally indestructible barrier was completely shattered like glass. Immediately afterwards, Ling Shui waved and led the demon sect army to swarm in at the same time. At this time, inside the barrier, Sun Jubai and others who were strengthening the barrier suddenly changed their expressions. Because the next moment, the barrier was broken. The sky cracked at this moment, like glass. A huge hole appeared. Then, amid the panicked gazes of Sun Jubai and others, Ling Shui led the demon sect's army and swarmed over. At this moment, everyone in the 36 Immortals Palace trembled in their hearts. It's coming, it's really coming. This time, it's really completely over. Above the sky, after Ling Shui came in with the demon sect army, his blood-red eyes immediately looked at Sun Jiabai, who was at the front of the 36 immortal palaces. Sun Jiabai is the leader of the rebellion against the demon sect. The biggest traitor. Young master. Sun Jiabai's face was now many times paler than before. Locked by Ling Shui's gaze, he was frozen in place, not daring to move. Ling Shui looked at him without speaking. Young master, back then, it was all the Grand Palace Master's intention. We have no qualms about the demon sect. Immediately, Sun Jiabai knelt down directly. It was because of the Grand Palace Master's persecution that we had no choice but to betray the demon sect. If the young master does not dislike it, we are willing to return to the demon sect and do our best for the young master. Bang! His voice stopped suddenly, because Ling Shui on the opposite side had already been slapped in the air, and his head exploded into a ball of blood mist with a loud bang from the slap. Blood spurted out from the broken neck. Then, his headless body kneeling in midair fell from a high altitude. Seeing this scene, everyone else in the 36 Immortals Palace was trembling and dripping with cold sweat. At the peak of Shenyuan realm, Ling Shui slapped his head like this. This new demon lord is indeed terrifying in the middle of the propaganda news. Ling Shui is too lazy to listen to their excuses. They have no need to quibble at all. Ling Shui knows better than anyone who betrayed the demon sect and who has second thoughts. After hitting Sun Jubai's head with a slap, Ling Shui then said lightly, "Kill everyone except Yue." After receiving Ling Shui's order, the demon army immediately swarmed forward. Like a black torrent, it engulfed the people in the 36 immortal palaces. Of course, the people of the 36 immortal palaces now have no room for resistance. Sun Jubai, who was taking the lead, was slapped in the head by Ling Shui. What else could they do? Suddenly, the entire 36 immortal palaces were in chaos. Some people want to escape, but they can't escape at all. Some people want to surrender and return to the demon sect, but Ling Shui cannot give them a chance. Ling Shui said no one should be left behind, so no one should be left behind. This is the best way to deal with traitors. Once upon a time, people from the 36 immortal palaces betrayed the demon sect and joined forces with outside forces to deal with the demon sect. How could Ling Shui give them a chance? How is it possible to keep them alive? Shock waves spread across the world. Whether you resist or not, there is only one outcome. Die. If you don't resist, it will be easier to die. In the melee, Yu Yaoyao flew down immediately and found Lan Yuei. Then, he came with her and said, "She is fine." It seems that they have not done anything to her in the 36th Immortal Palace these years except being imprisoned. As soon as Lan Yuei came up, her eyes were fixed on Ling Shui. The young boy in her childhood memories has now grown into the new demon lord of the demon sect. Incomparable temperament and incredible strength. This huge contrast almost made her suspect that the person in front of her was not Ling Shui. But that familiar face, that long snow-white hair mixed with blood red. And those blood-red noble eyes. Who else but Ling Shui? Little Lord, Lan Yuei shouted softly, and her eye circles were moist at this moment. She finally met Ling Shui again, and finally met the other members of the demon sect. Looking at the girl in front of him who was also growing up beautifully, Ling Shui just smiled faintly at her, grown up. When she heard Ling Shui's voice and felt Ling Shui's familiar gaze, Lan Yuei finally couldn't bear it anymore. He rushed forward and hugged Ling Shui in his arms. Young master, my mother did not betray the demon sect, and we did not betray the demon sect. It was them, they were all forced to do so secretly. The side of her face was pressed tightly against Ling Shui's chest, tears already pouring out of her eyes. After so many years of injustice and so many years of house arrest, she was finally able to release her inner emotions without reservation. She is a girl after all, and she is strong in front of everyone in the 36 immortal palaces. But when she had someone to vent to, of course the weaknesses in her heart were expressed without reservation. After all, she needs someone to make the decision for her. Ling Shui is finally here. Feeling the cry of the girl in his arms, Ling Shui slowly stretched out his hand and hugged her. He gently stroked her soft dark blue hair and comforted her softly. I know, I know. Such a scene made Qian Shui, who was watching the narration, subconsciously retract his gaze and look away. She is also a girl, and sometimes she actually fantasizes about having a warm embrace. Even if she had no grievances, that gentle embrace was what she longed for. Unfortunately, Ling Shui doesn't seem to be that interested in her. She has been with Ling Shui for 2 or 3 days, and Ling Shui has never touched her. At this moment, she also had the same idea as Xiao Shi. Could it be that I am too young? But I will be 18 soon. Not too young anymore. And Lan Yuei should be the same age. In midair, Ling Shui was comforting Lan Yuei in his arms, a girl he had treated almost as a sister since childhood. The rest of the demon sect's army was currently bloodbathing the 36 immortal palaces. The whole world was in chaos. Such chaos, I don't know how long it lasted before it stopped. At this time, all that was left in the 36 immortal palaces were the ruins of war and corpses everywhere. It's true that no one is left behind. Except Lan Yuei. All of this is what Lan Yuei has wanted to see for a long time. Over the years, she has wanted to kill Sun Jubai and everyone else every day. It's a pity that she doesn't have that kind of strength. But now, Ling Shui took the people from the demon sect to avenge her and avenge her mother. Backquote, you guys from the demon sect are really ruthless in your attacks. If you say you won't spare anyone, then you won't spare anyone. Qinger stood next to Ling Shui, covering her mouth and smiling. I thought I could barely survive. But the Momon's style, Hao Jiao, still surprised her. He is really a devil, he really wants to kill them all. Our demon sect, don't forget. You are also a member of the demon sect now. Ling Shui said lightly to her. Yes, I am a member of the demon sect. But I must have a position or something, right? Qinger smiled charmingly and leaned towards Ling Shui. For example, the 12 demons or something. They all have them, I have to have one, right? I want someone taller than them all, why not? How about I just be the demon lord's wife? Hearing this, Yu Yaoyao, Xiao Shangyu, Gan Shui, and even Lan Yue all looked at her at the same time. You are really a lion talking loudly. Just ask yourself, why do you? Qing'er's strength is indeed the strongest in the entire demon sect. The second realm of extreme martial arts. But wanting to be the demon lord's wife requires more than just strength. First of all, you have to be Ling Shui's favorite. Secondly, you must at least have the demeanor of a mother who cares about the world, right? To be the wife of the demon lord of a demon sect, you have to convince everyone in the demon sect, right? Although you are currently the strongest, you still have no great contribution to the demon sect and Ling Shui. It's just the strongest. Besides, even if we just look at strength, it's still unclear who will be stronger than whom in the future. So, why do you want to be the demon lord's wife? Watch what I do. Sensing the gazes of everyone around her, Qing'er smiled seductively. Could it be that you are more suitable than me? As soon as these words came out, everyone was speechless. If we compare them, it's not that one is more suitable than the other. Of course, they can't say that they are indeed more suitable than Qing'er. But, I just can't admit that Qing'er is Ling Shui's palace. As for Qing'er's question, Ling Shui certainly didn't agree. He just said slowly, rebuild the 36 demonic palaces, and you will be the Grand Palace Master. Since she wants a status, then give her a status. The status and power of the Grand Palace Master are not inferior to those of the 12 demons. Alas, you really still don't like me that much. Qing'er sighed and stared at Ling Shui with her beautiful eyes. I always feel that you already have a candidate for the demon lord's wife in your heart, so you don't give me a chance. She knows Ling Shui likes her. She knows that Ling Shui also loves her. But she just felt that there should be another more important woman in Ling Shui's heart. Therefore, she will not be embarrassed. Ling Shui just smiled lightly and didn't explain much. Actually, he just wasn't sure yet. Let's talk about this kind of thing later. Okay, Grand Palace Master, this is considered a title. Thank you. Qing'er then exhaled. Since Ling Shui has spoken, of course she has no objection. The position of Grand Palace Master is indeed high enough. Immediately afterwards, Ling Shui's figure fell little by little toward the ground below. Everyone is curious. After killing everyone, what else does he want to do? Under everyone's gaze, Ling Shui slowly landed. Then he suddenly raised his hand and made a fist. He punched the ground with one punch. Bang! Suddenly, the whole earth trembled. Mud and gravel were thrown into the sky by Ling Shui's punch. On the ground, a huge pit with a depth of more than several hundred feet appeared. Everyone looked at it intently and were shocked. Because under the earth, an ancient bronze bunker was exposed. There are actually articles underneath this small world. Below, the corners of Ling Shui's mouth curved slightly. Sun Jiabai and these idiots just used this place as a hiding place. Little did they know that this place used to be a secret realm, and there was still a treasure pavilion underneath that had not been discovered by anyone. There are many good things hidden inside. Immediately afterwards, Ling Shui jumped Ayaka and swooped down towards the ancient castle. Above, Qing'er and others looked at each other and quickly followed. The ancient bronze castle is buried underground and has an extremely tight structure. Except for one door, there is almost no gap. It's like a boxy bronze box. Ling Shui led everyone forward and opened the castle. Then, everyone was surprised. I saw that the interior of this castle was dazzling, with rare treasures everywhere. Is there such a good place here? Yu Yaoyao exclaimed in shock. How come you know everything? Qing'er's beautiful eyes looked at Ling Shui again. While the others were surprised, they were also equally curious. Why does Ling Shui seem to know everything? People who know that the 36 immortal palaces will hide here and know how to break the barrier. Now we even know a treasure hiding place that Sun Jiabai and others don't know about. Is he omniscient and omnipotent? Ling Shui still hasn't explained anything. Of course, these are all recorded in the original work. All the treasures in this castle fell into Yifeng's hands in the original novel. Of course, with Ling Shui's current cultivation level, most of the things in this are useless. But with so many people in the demon sect, they are in great need. Immediately afterwards, Ling Shui led everyone in. High-level skills, secret elixirs, magic weapons, everything you need. Outside, those are things that are worth a lot of money. Ling Shui certainly has no interest in these things. With his current level of cultivation, almost all the treasures here are useless to him. But you have to look for it. In the original book, Yi Feng only became rich after getting the secret treasure here. The contents inside were not completely used up and were all thrown into the storage space. Maybe, are there any good things that Yi Feng didn't discover in the original novel? Ling Shui's figure soon arrived at a high platform. There stood a knife. A pale knife. This knife is called Devil May Cry. In the original work, one accompanied Yi Feng to the finale. It is an extremely tough magic weapon. Ling Shui reached out and picked up the knife, then threw it away. Beitu. Of course he doesn't need this knife, but his men do. Among the crowd, Baitu quickly reached out and took it. Stroking the pale blade, a touch of fire suddenly appeared on his face. This knife is undoubtedly more than one level higher than the one in his hand. Thank you, Lord Demon. Baitu's hoarse voice immediately sounded. Of course he understood that this was specially selected by Ling Shui to give to him. Because he is the most suitable. Ling Shui just smiled faintly, and then walked to an ancient bronze shelf. On the shelf, there is a small box. Ling Shui opened the box, and a fragrance of elixir suddenly filled the air. Everyone looked at it and were shocked. This is Yuanji Dan. So much. This is simply hoarding this high-level elixir as if it were a pearl. The previous owner of this ancient bronze castle was probably not a simple person. Everyone was shocked. The so-called Yuanji pill is a high-level pill that can bring great auxiliary effects when the Shenyuan realm breaks through to the extreme martial realm. This kind of elixir could be refined by no more than 3 people in this world. As a result, there is a box directly placed here. There must be more than 20 of these, right? Isn't this too arrogant? Looking at the box of pills in front of him, Ling Shui had a faint smile on his lips. In the original book, this box of pills helped Yi Feng improve his cultivation a lot. Moreover, with the help of these elixirs, he also made many strong friends and established many relationships. But now, Yi Feng has long been dead, and these all belong to the demon sect. Split it up, and each of us, the mortal divine Yuan realm members of our demon sect, will receive 1 Yuanji pill. Ling Shui then waved. With this pill, the overall strength of his demon sect can be greatly improved again. If the 20 or so divine spirits in the demon sect were all transformed into the realm of extreme martial arts. So what's the difficulty in sweeping the world? Yes. Xiao Shangyu nodded, then stepped forward to pick up the box. This batch of elixirs will be distributed by her. The rest will be kept until someone from the demon sect reaches the divine origin realm, and then distributed. Then, Ling Shui's eyes continued to scan the treasures everywhere. The most useful things here are probably this batch of elixirs and that knife. Although the rest is valuable, it is basically of no great use to beings at the Shenyuan realm and above. At this moment, just when Ling Shui felt that the things here had no great value, he suddenly caught a glimpse of something. It was a blood-red fragment. I don't know if it's a fragment of a sword or a fragment of a sword, but it's just a small piece the size of half a palm. The whole body is blood-red, as if it is made of some kind of special blood-colored magic iron. Ling Shui generally has no interest in things that are introduced in detail in the original work. But Ling Shui was very interested in things that were not introduced in detail but appeared in the original work. For example, the previous Chenkin sword technique, or this strange fragment in front of me. Ling Shui immediately stepped forward and reached out to pick up the fragment. But the moment his hand touched the fragment, a bloodstain appeared on his finger. This sudden sting made Ling Shui's complexion change slightly. With his level of cultivation at the extreme martial realm, he would actually be cut when he touched this fragment. How sharp is this thing? You actually ignored his protective aura. And the kind of cut just now was not ordinary. Ling Shui could clearly feel that kind of cut. Not only was the skin cut open, but even the soul was traumatized. It's like this little thing has the ability to cut through everything. In other words, it has a penetrating power. An absolute penetration. No matter what kind of defense it is, it has unstoppable penetration. This small fragment must have a great origin. Immediately, the blood-red aura covered Ling Shui's body. Then, the consciousness wrapped up this small fragment and completely controlled this small fragment. From now on, this small fragment is like a sharp flying knife in his hand, which can be controlled at will by his will. Ling Shui slowly stretched out his palm, and the fragment was suspended in his palm. Blood-red fragments, sharp and sharp. Immediately afterwards, Ling Shui's mind moved. Boo-hoo-hoo. These small fragments just exploded around. It penetrated the surrounding ancient bronze shelves, penetrated the wall of the ancient bronze castle, and then returned to Ling Shui's palm. At that moment, Ling Er could clearly feel the strange power zone of this small fragment. When it passes through the wall of the bronze castle and passes through all obstacles, it is so unhindered. It is truly unobstructed, just like passing through the air, without any unnecessary resistance. Ling Shui's eyes suddenly became more interested. Could it be that this small fragment really has absolute penetrating power? Penetration that ignores all defenses and obstructions. If that's the case, a bold idea came to Ling Shui's mind. If this thing can really penetrate anything, then, can I use this small fragment to go to the higher levels of the Shira Purgatory Tower? Go and see what kind of existences are being imprisoned in those places that you couldn't enter originally, those higher places. Go and see, what kind of existence is there beyond the 10 realms of extreme martial arts. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.